Worcester Park, Esme.
Oh, hello. This is Esme in Cheam, not Worcester Park.
Can you call me back when you get to Worcester Park?
Not really, because I'm here now and I want to speak.
Very disagreeable.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Esme.
Right. I'd just like to say that I don't understand why we can't have a vote to ask Scotland to leave the UK and join the EU. Because that would be great. Because then they could join the EU.
Right, but they're in the EU.
Have a vote on that.
Yeah, they're in the EU.
Who's in the EU? Yeah, but we should have entitled to have a vote against them being in our country and joining the EU.
Well, technically, Scotland is not in our... presumably you mean England?
Yes, but
it's not in England. Scotland is not in England. Not really. Not technically, that's not true.
Well, it is part of the UK, actually. I don't know if
it's part of the UK, but it's not in England. The UK is not a country.
I'm sorry? Say again?
You want to...
Look, they had a vote
yes.
to say that they don't want to be part of us, okay?
Yeah.
They want to be part of it. So I want to vote to say I don't want them in our country, okay?
Yeah, but they're not in our country. It's a separate country. You mean England? They had a vote to say that they didn't want to be a part of England. Is that what you're saying?
They wanted to be in England.
Yeah, but they're not in England, Esme. I mean, these are just small details which will get you shouted at north of the border. In fact, I'm thinking about shouting at you about it now, and I'm south of the border.
I think the whole country is part of the UK. Scotland, I might be wrong. Wales,
Wales, yes.
Even Cheam in where I am. Okay.
Well, the jury's out on whether Cheam should actually be a thing. Never mind about being part of England.
What do you mean a thing? How dare you speak to me about
Cheam?
Sutton? It's part of Sutton. It's people live here, and
Sutton,
that's it.
Say no more.
Anyway.
So you want to banish Scotland?
No. Yes, I'd like to get rid of them.
Right.
Because they talk too much. They're too loud. I don't like them, and they're always disrespected for some unknown reason that I don't know. I'm Welsh myself, so I don't care. And why are you reading the weather forecast?
Why am I reading the weather forecast?
You read the weather forecast?
Yeah, because it's
Is
the
that
weather.
part of your job?
But part of my job?
Well, you read the weather forecast.
Yeah.
You should be concentrating on other things.
Like?
Well,
taking educational and well thought out calls like this.
Margaret Thatcher is not the greatest leader, okay? I didn't like her that much. I think Clement Attlee and Churchill, possibly. Yeah, but not Margaret Thatcher.
Right. Somebody get me a pencil.
Definitely not Theresa May.
I'll write this down.
Yeah, we'll do it now. And I will be voting for Nigel Farage because that's where Sutton is. Okay?
Nigel Farage. Sutton is in Nigel Farage.
No, he's not in anywhere. He's not. I mean, he may be somewhere, but we voted out in Sutton. Okay? Yeah, and I'm going to be following him very close.
I very much doubt that, Esme.
What are you talking about?
You may have voted out, but I doubt that the good people of Sutton voted out. I may be wrong.
I may be wrong. On Google,
but
I bet I'm right.
Google, yeah, Google.
Well, I thought worldwide wait. Yeah. Okay. So now I know you listen to me. I listen to you. Okay. So I've got to go now because I've had a...
Thank goodness for that. That's the best thing you've said so far, Esme. You've got to go. Okay, well, don't let me delay you any further.
Bye-bye.
Sum that call up for us.
A big sack of monkey nuts.
Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, good evening there.
Oh, God.
Well,
I mean, hello.
Hello. Well, your whole question, Tom, total bias to Remain. They always overload with Remainers all the time. Same as daily politics, everything. The bias is unbelievable.
No, what you mean, Brian, is that there was one person on there who said something you disagreed with.
No.
Yes.
I'm not saying what they said, Nick. What I'm saying, it's always 3-1. 3 Remainers to 1 Leaver.
Right, well, I don't know who else was on that programme. I don't watch that programme.
You watch it.
No, I won't watch it. I refuse to watch it. I won't do my homework.
You watch daily politics, do you?
No.
As well.
Well, you're talking about the thing on Sky?
No, on 12:15.
Oh, well, what's that thing with, what's it on Sky? Isn't that called the Daily Politics? It's on in a weird time of day. It's on at about 9. Listen to me. It's on about 9 o'clock in the morning. With you know, the big guy, Jabba the Hutt. It's on about 9 o'clock in the morning, which is such a weird time to have a politics show. Who in politics is watching that program? People watching TV at that time of day want game shows and, you know, all that, the antiques programs,
anyway,
all that
Nick,
rubbish the BBC serves up.
I'm really upbeat the way Brexit is going.
Is this
now.
you upbeat?
I'm very upbeat about it. I mean, the Conservatives.
I would hate to hear you when you're down.
The Conservatives and the Labour are destroying themselves. Brilliant. The longer this drags on, the weaker they're getting.
Well, the weaker we're all getting.
These two parties are getting weaker by the day.
Well,
and I'm not bothered
as they represent much of the country, that rather implies that the country is also getting weaker.
And I wanted Theresa May out, but I'm not bothered now. I'm not bothered if she stays or she goes, because the longer she stays, the more we're going to get Brexit.
The more you're going to get Brexit, explain that to me.
Because the only thing, as I get weaker and weaker, is leave with either a trade deal or no deal. But they can't. The Conservatives now are in a position where they can't even go for customs union single market because they'll just get wiped out in a general election. You know, they put themselves in a corner. And they still can't get rid of her. I'm not bothered, as I say, if she stays as she goes now. And Labour now, they're just the same. They can't decide what they want. They don't know if they want a second referendum. Tom Watson, he wants to go the other way, Corbyn.
Well, this is why we elect our parliamentarians. We don't elect robots.
Affirmative.
We want people to think for themselves, and this is what you get when you give control to Parliament. You have a lot of independent-minded people who come to decisions based on who come to decisions based on their own opinions and the information that they have at hand.
But we all know now the opinions. They don't know what they're doing. They can't agree with each other, both
Yes,
parties.
but not being able to agree with each other is not the same as not knowing what they're doing.
Well,
This is what a democracy is like, Brian. I thought this is what people like you wanted, to give control to Parliament. But you don't.
Oh.
You don't want to give control to Parliament. You want to take control for yourself and tell Parliament what to do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I don't.
Yes, you
I don't.
absolutely
I'll
do.
tell you what I want, shall I? Tell you what I want. I want these two useless parties to keep losing power because they're not fit for purpose. They can't agree with each other, both main parties. They
can't agree with each other. That's not that's not the point of them to agree with each other.
Come on, Nick. Nick, you call these parties when it suits you. You said they don't know what they're doing. Now you're saying they do know what they're doing. Just because it suits your argument.
No, that's two different arguments. I'm saying that they don't know what they're doing on whatever issue it might be at hand. But your contention is that they must be given control. So in that regard, parliamentarians do know what they're doing. They're deciding. Oh God.
They've lost control, haven't they? That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say to you, Nick. They've lost control.
Control.
On everything, not just Brexit. They've lost control of the police, controlling everything.
Well, that's because we have become a country that just attends now to those that shout the loudest, and those that shout the loudest are saying, as with one voice, as though the rest of their happiness, health, and welfare depends on it, that they want Brexit above all else. They don't care about crashing the economy, and they don't care about the NHS, and they don't care about the police, and they don't care about the schools. They don't care about anything. They just want Brexit.
You've got the other bombshell now, haven't you? Corbyn is going to snub the Queen.
Yeah.
Vince Cable
No,
is
it's
gonna
not
do
the
same.
Queen. It's not the Queen he's snubbing.
Well, Trump then. Trump.
Yeah.
And Vince Cable's going to do the same.
Yes.
You know, and you'll probably agree with that, do you, Nick?
Well, what's wrong with that? Oh God, why is it that people like you, Brian, seem to think on every given issue in the same way? I bet you have a similar opinion on being polite. You would call it political correctness. You're against it, yes? Yes, you're against political correctness, but you're for the Queen. Yes?
I'm not for the Queen.
I bet you are.
I'm not a royalist. I'm not a royalist.
I bet you are.
No, I'm not.
I bet you are down to your Union flag socks.
You know what I am more than me, do you? Right,
I've got a fair idea of you up and down. Yeah, I could draw a diagram of your every waking thought. Swiss Cottage. Hello, Eamon.
Hello, Nick. How are you, mate? How are you getting on?
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
We're coming to the end game. Boris is on his horse, as I told you. You can see him saddling up now. And he's going to watch
it's
it.
hard to know where one ass ends and the other starts.
Nah. Well, you know, the thing about it is, I don't think it'd be that bad for you, Nick. Seriously, I don't think it'd be that bad for anybody. I think he's going to call an election very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make a deal with Farage. And I think Farage is going to do a cracking move on what's her name now? I can't remember. Ed Bull's wife. Can't remember. He's going to stand against the Yorkshire and just destroy her. This is just undemocratic, Nick. That's what the problem is. This is just so undemocratic what they try to do to take it away from the people. I mean, you might not agree with it.
Wait a minute. Back up. What are we talking about now? Which is undemocratic?
Well, everyone's talking about a second vote and a second this and just cheating like mad. These people
but it's not really cheating to give the people more democracy, is it?
But no, well, I can understand that. But Lisa Nandy, right? She lost by 70% and 30% in Wigan, right? She hasn't been heard of, right? I think is it Yvonne, somebody, I can't remember what Ed Bull's this is, right? She's lost by 69% or something. They haven't been heard of. They're sweating now. They know they're going to get done. Right, what's going to happen? Labour's going to lose about 40, 50 seats up there. You look at a map, yeah, and you say yellow's out and green's in. London's yellow, Scotland's yellow. The rest is just green. You know, or the other way around. It's just you can't odds it.
Green.
People want it.
Green.
Well, I just said, look at a map. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Visualise the map, right? People who vote to stay in, right, is London and Scotland. That's all it is. And then the people
that's not entirely true. Most urban areas voted to stay in.
Well, have a look at a map. Have a look at a map. You've got somewhere like.
I will not have a look at it. This sounds like homework.
Have a look at a map.
I'm not going to look at a map, giving me homework. It's the weekend, but sir.
Newcastle, right? Maybe a little bit of one or two places in Liverpool, but the rest of the map is just completely that way.
But I'm not sure that's true.
Well, you want to look at a map.
I don't want to look at a map. I thought we'd been over this. I refuse to do my homework. I will not learn. Look at a map. Yeah, I think most urban areas voted to remain, and most ex-urban areas voted to leave. Ain't that true?
Apart from Scotland, we'll agree with that. Yeah. Do you think Mr. Barney will be happy about this? Do you think they'll just turn around and speak the way to Boris or somebody else, the way they spoke to Theresa May, all laughing at? Did you see the thing on BBC Two? Talking about BBC Two?
No, I did not. Is this more homework you're giving me now?
Watch Inside Brexit. Honestly, it's just amazing the way they spoke. They've got Irish people over there. My people are Irish. Saying, "Oh, we got them trapped now. We got them trapped."
Okay, all right. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine now. Theresa May is gone because she was a traitor, presumably, and she was trying to engineer our staying in, even when it appeared as though she was trying to get us out. And when when the next fella comes in, assuming that it's going to be a fella, let's assume that that's true, and he doesn't get anywhere, just as Theresa May didn't really get anywhere, then what are you going to do? Call him a traitor. Here is an important call in Wimbledon. Hello, Barbara.
Hello.
Barbara.
Hello, yes.
Hello, yes.
Who am I speaking to?
Who am I speaking to?
It's Barbara.
Barbara. Is it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Can you prove it?
Am I talking to Nick Abbot?
Yes, Barbara.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I just switched off the radio. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware of it.
Wait a
Nick,
minute. You turned me off, but you called anyway?
I turned off the radio just to be able to speak to you. Nick, I must tell you one thing. I've been listening to you for the last 4 months.
Yes.
And it struck me that, and I apologize for the use of words, but you struck me as someone who, a little bit of a clown.
A clown, yeah.
A clown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I just didn't like your way you talk about on the radio and this silly remarks and everything.
Yeah. But wait a minute, you've been listening to me for 4 months and you've only just figured that out?
Sorry? Yes, I've been listening to you for 4 months. Yes,
and you've only just realised that you don't. And you've only just realised that you don't like the show. 4 months you've been listening.
Yes, because
you're a bit slow on the uptake, Barbara. I mean, how long does it take you to make your mind up about something? Crying out loud.
Yes,
4 months.
What I want to tell you, Nick,
yes,
is that the first time today I've heard your saying, and I've never heard it before.
What saying?
That you said that we, that is UK, we actually sold our rights to fisheries.
Yes.
Right? And I've never heard it say from anyone else. I was never aware of a factor.
Right. Well, it's all there. If you just looked it up, Barbara, then taking Nigel Farage's word, just look it up. It's available on an internet near you. Have you got the internet where you live?
Of course I do. Of course I do. But I've never heard. I remember Nigel Farage talking about the fisheries and all other politicians and saying as soon as we come out of the European Union, we'll be able to claim our rights
and blah, blah, blah.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I've never heard anyone saying...
Right, so you just took on board everything that he said as though it was the truth.
But why should I believe you, Nick?
Look it up, Barbara.
Where does your information coming? Where is it coming from? Your information about?
If you look it up on the internet, Barbara, then you wouldn't be asking me. Look with your eyes, not your mouth.
Please do not be rude.
I'm not being rude. This is excellent advice, Barbara. For from now until the end of time, you will never hear a better piece of advice. Look with your eyes, not your mouth.
May I please ask you? Okay, if you're right. So may I please ask you, what are the benefits of us staying in the EU?
Free trade with the largest trading bloc in the world.
Free trade, okay, but aren't you aware of the factor that we've been told for many, many months that, or if not years, that there is a high percentage of people living on the breadline in the UK.
Yeah. You think that's going to be improved by us leaving the European Union?
Absolutely.
How?
So if that is the case, which you agree with...
How?
Well, exactly. This is the question I want to ask you. How? Why is it that we are part of the EU, which is supposed to be so great for this country?
Yes.
Why do we have...
Really, is your question... Let me just skip ahead to the end of your question. Is your question, if the European Union is so great, why isn't my life perfect? Is that your question?
No.
Yes.
My question is, why is it so beneficial for us to stay within EU, which have been for years, when we have so many people living on the breadline?
Yeah, exactly what I just said. If the European Union is so great, why isn't my life perfect? That's your question, isn't it?
No.
Yes.
Nick, I do not care about your life being perfect. What I'm saying is...
No, I don't mean my life. I mean you saying my life, as in your life.
No, you...
God, I thought that was understood.
The word my life. I'm not saying about my life or your life. I'm saying
this is not about you.
Terms, if European Union is so good...
It's so great. Why isn't life perfect?
Why do we have so many people living on the breadline?
Why isn't life perfect? Yeah, that's not going to be improved by leaving the European Union, Barbara. It's called...
Is it going to be improved
life
by
isn't
staying?
fair. Get used to it.
Is it going to be improved by staying within the EU? Just tell me that.
It will be less disadvantageous for us to leave. No, wait. Less disadvantageous for us to stay. There you go. Things will be better off if we stay than if we leave, Barbara, and that's been proven already by the effect.
How do you know that?
But it's been proven already by the effect that...
How do you know that?
Listen to me. It's going to be it's been proved already by the effect that it has already had on the economy.
But our economy is doing great.
Is it?
In fact,
based
yes,
on what?
It's doing better than in Germany or France.
And what leads you to that assertion, Barbara?
It's not the assertion, Nick. If you happen to read...
Don't tell me this is something else that Nigel Farage said.
If you happen to read foreign press from France on any other European Union countries, you know that some countries are really struggling. I'm not even going to mention Greece, which is completely bankrupt at the moment.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the European Union either. That's the special way in which the Greeks used to lead their financial lives.
So are you telling to me that all these people who are really living on the breadline in Greece, nothing to do with the European Union? No,
it's the ridiculous, financially inept way that the Greeks used to lead their lives.
All right, so it's very okay. So please tell me, why is it that 50% of the young Spaniards between the age of 18 and 24 are unemployed?
That has nothing to do with the European Union either.
Nothing to do with the European Union.
Well, explain to me how it does have something to do with the European Union.
So what? Yes.
No, but tell me why? What is it about what the European Union is doing that has caused that to happen? Tell me. You don't know.
Can you repeat that, please?
No, not really. What you're saying is that everything that is wrong with life is the fault of the European Union. That is your assertion, in a nutshell. Yeah.
Because European Union...
Well, that's I'm sorry to be rude here, Barbara, but that is an asinine suggestion.
The European Union is not really the European Union as we think it is. European Union, de facto, is the Franco-German Union. And all the other
apart from all of the other countries, it's all about France and Germany. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
100%.
And if you do not accept
no margin for error there. 100%. You say.
But I'm actually happen to disagree with you, and I'm saying you're ignorant.
Well,
and I would say to
Barbara,
you,
that makes you wrong, then, doesn't it?
Read foreign press. Find out what's happening in each individual country within the European Union.
You don't need to read the foreign press to find out what is happening in other countries, Barbara. It's called international news. We cover it here.
Great. So obviously you don't actually pay much attention.
I pay an enormous amount of attention.
Enormous amount of attention, and you're coming with all this nonsense. You're coming.
No, when you say nonsense, you mean it's something that you disagree with, or rather, it's not even something that you've made a conscious decision on one way or the other. It's just that you've heard your favourite politician say that it's this way, and it creates a noise in your brain to hear something that suggests that you got it the wrong way round.
About European Union. Who's paying you to do that?
Who's paying me to support the European Union?
Absolutely.
Because nobody can say anything positive about the European Union without actually being paid money.
Yeah, obviously someone must be doing that. Because you're all for.
Barbara, in moments of quiet contemplation, when you're sitting in a darkened room with a bucket on your head, are you hearing this noise between your ears? We're following that lady. This entire country has decided that lady is the person that we want to follow. Here's another one. Bedford. Hello, Rob.
Hiya, how you doing? All right.
Good, thanks.
Good. I spoiled my ballot paper as well, and to tell you the reasons for why, although you'll probably take the mickey out of it, is I did vote to Brexit. The reason why I spoiled the ballot paper was neither Labour or Conservative, which are really, in my eyes, the only ones really worth talking about, neither of them followed the rules of what I would regard as democracy and honoured what the people vote for. So
now, can we just revisit that vote? When we know that the vote was gained through criminal activity. We know that that's true. People have been fined. People have been fined and admitted guilt. So there was that. It seems, the more you look at it, it seems less like democracy and more like the stealing of democracy by people with unlimited funds.
Two ways to look at that, Nick. Yeah, if there were all these lies that were being told by the people who wanted a Brexit, then why on earth were they not corrected at the time?
Because people weren't interested in facts. They were voting on feelings.
Isn't that the job of the Remain side to point that out as of when these lies were happening?
That's like telling somebody in a bar who just got hit in the face by a complete stranger that it's their fault for having a face.
No, it's entirely not like that.
No, it is like that. You just said that you just excused the lies perpetrated by one side and saying that it was the fault of the other side for not correcting them.
No, I'm saying that when two people are up for debating something, then it's the side. It's up to the other side to say, listen, what he's saying there is a lie, and this is why he's saying it's a lie. But if the Remainers aren't putting that side across, then they're
right,
just
so,
guilty.
well, then I go back to my previous comments, which you just dismissed, and it's exactly what you're saying. You're saying that the lies perpetrated by one side are actually the fault of the other side for not correcting them.
I'm not saying they're excused by it, but what I'm saying is... No, hold on. I'm not saying they're excused by it. They're excused for saying... What I'm saying is it's two parties are to blame here for letting those lies come across also.
Well, you are saying... you keep telling me that you're not saying that, and then you keep reiterating the exact thing that I'm accusing you of, Bob. Can you hear yourself? So, I mean, I didn't even mention the lies. You brought that up. I mentioned the criminality that was behind the vote. One side overspent by 10%, and the vote was won by 3%. Coincidence? Not really. And we still don't know where the money came from. The biggest donors in political history are, we don't know. Got no idea. Millions and millions and millions of pounds were spent on a massive, highly sophisticated, highly targeted advertising campaign, the likes of which politics has never seen, because it hadn't been invented up until just recently. Nobody had the capability of doing it, and certainly didn't have the funds in order to do it. An unlimited amount of money seems to have been spent on taking us out of the European Union, and people still go on about it was the will of the people, and not enacting it is against democracy, as though none of the criminal activity around it existed. We're just dismissing it entirely. Hadley, once again. Simon.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, cool. Right, okay. What's that about violence? I'm not threatening any violence.
No, I'm glad to hear it.
We'd never do it. It's crazy. Violence begets violence. That's a fact. Anyway, so we're talking about...
Silence.
Boris Johnson?
Oh, yes, him.
Is that what I'm on here for? You've changed so much since I phoned in. You've changed your topic so much. Yeah. I'm just not sure where I'm standing now.
I know. It's like my mind's all over the place. Yeah,
yes.
Where are you standing, Simon?
I'm actually sitting in Hadley, not standing.
Right. Can you call me back when you're standing?
All right, I'm standing now.
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't believe you. I don't think you just stood up.
All right. No, that's true. I just made that up. Yeah. I am now standing up.
No, I don't believe you. I still don't believe you. Where was the groan? Where was the groan when you got up? I heard no hefting.
That's a good point, because I am physically challenged when standing, but yes, amazingly the painkillers work.
Okay.
So,
yes.
What am I talking about?
I've got no idea. I think maybe you're taking too many painkillers. I think that's probably what it is. So, what colour are they? Do you pop them, snort them, what?
No, I take they're provided by the GP. So,
right. Yeah. Sure.
And apart from that, I can get them over the counter, like ibuprofen and paracetamol, etc. Yeah. Mm. Right. I still don't know where we're going with this, because this is not a topic that.
It's almost as though it's almost as though this show has no direction home.
Well, that's down to the host, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that the host is an idiot. No one should listen to this program.
Okay.
You can jump in any time you like,
okay.
Simon. No, of course you're not an idiot. You're doing very well, Nick. Why'd you beat yourself up like that? For crying out loud. Can I get some help here, please?
True. But, I support where you're coming from.
Yes. Even though you've no idea where I'm going to.
No. But I'm sure I can answer where you're going to. So, what's it about? Is it about Boris becoming the PM, or with his issues that
he's got issues,
privacy is?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one thing I really want to talk about is the fact that is it true that we all believe that a person going into public life should never have any private life at all whatsoever because they've done that?
Well, it would be a good start to have no private life that requires a police presence. Can we at least settle on that?
So what you're saying then is a police presence means it has to be public.
Well,
I'm sure the calls don't work like that, surely.
I think if you wake the neighbours up with your screaming and your banging and your shouting...
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Then that is not private anymore. That is public.
And no one else does that?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Well, no one else that should be considered to be the leader of the country. That is what I'm saying. I mean, if you can't keep it together to not have a blazing row that actually wakes the neighbours up to the point that they think that there's been violence inside and the police need to attend, then, yeah, I think we've got a problem of personality.
And what was the police verdict? Please remind me.
Well, the verdict was no such incident ever happened. We have got no record of that ever happening. We are keeping totally stum about that. It was a figment of your imagination, and please watch. Please look at this watch ticking back and forth. Forget everything that we've ever said. I think that was pretty much their line. But anyway, it's been entertaining, Simon. I've got no idea what that call was about. Do you?
No. You've just told me. Okay, and you've told me what the police have said, and you are underscoring the fact that the police are lying bastards because...
Oh, okay. Wow, that came out of nowhere. Whew. I was not thinking that's where that was going to go. Did you? No. I am stunned. Rock back on my heels, I am. Here's a call in Manchester. Hello, Dave.
Hi there, Nick. How you doing?
Great, mate.
Wonderful. Excuse me, my point is, and I've been planning this and it's all going to plan, we need to become the 51st state, break free from Europe, which we are doing, and join America. Wonderful. We'll take the dollar, lose the pound. Marvellous.
Okay, we'll take back control and give it to a bright orange screaming baby. That sounds a great plan.
No, it's not. It's not just one guy. Donald Trump isn't America. He represents the land of the free, home of the brave, and all that sort of stuff. And I agree with that. And that's no. That's just basic respect.
Yeah, it's just basic. That's basic science. That is. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's what it is.
Right. So what about the taking back control part? I thought that was the whole plan.
Yeah, take back control. Build a bloody wall around Britain.
Right.
And
So
you can no. Listen, let me just say this.
Take back control. Okay. Is this just a silly call, or is it worth pursuing?
No, definitely
I'm not sure. We're going to build a wall around Britain. Really?
Build a wall. If you haven't got borders, you've got anarchy, and it's a bit.
Well, we do have borders.
Well, yeah, we need
we're an island, Dave. We have a natural border. We're an island. Look at the map.
Yeah, and it needs looking after, and we need to protect our borders.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we do.
And that's all we need to do, and that's what America wants.
So we're going to build a wall.
I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
Billions and billions of walls.
We're going to build a wall all the way around the
island.
Billions of walls. Okay, and you've been thinking about this a lot, haven't you, Dave?
Keep the borders in control.
Right. Somebody should build a wall around you.
25 people aborting folks than me, honestly.
Yeah.
We need to control our borders.
Okay.
Respect to everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave. You keep thinking. It's obviously what you do best. Hello, Brian, in Stockton-on-Tees.
Yeah, good evening, Nick.
Hey, Brian.
You caught me on a slip of champagne there, Nick.
Oh, really? Shall I put you back on hold?
Celebrating the coronation of Boris.
The coronation. Yeah, isn't that an outrage?
They look like giving him it, don't they?
They certainly do.
And
you just never know, though. You never know until the nags are all over the line. You just never know. Anything could happen in this race of asses.
I looked at like jokey things in the future, and my vision is this, Nick, that he puts pressure on the EU, finally puts pressure, calls the bluff, and he says, no deal, you're not getting your 39 billion.
Well, we can't not give them the 39 billion.
No, just a sec. And then I see them all run to the toilet, right? And poor old John Claude Juncker, he's going to be the back of the queue. He can't hardly walk, no man run. You know what's going to happen, don't you? He's not going to make that toilet, is he? I look at things like that, and I think there will. He's going to pull.
You're weirder than I thought.
I see that happening. But they have never had any pressure at all put on them with May and the civil servant bloke she had. Finally, some pressure is going to be put on them.
Pressure? What pressure? You're not one of these people that thinks that they need us more than we need them, are you?
They do need us,
See,
Nick.
I knew it.
But they do need us.
You're living in a fantasy land, Brian.
Right. We'll class it as a game of cards, shall we? This talk's just been going on for 3 years. Now, I think they have still very little in their hand. They're a busted flush, really. Now,
what have we got?
Right. What I'm trying to say is, we've ended up in this position with this withdrawal thing because the EU want us to remain.
No, they don't.
No, they did. They do, really. Right?
Well, most of the people in this country want us to remain.
Right. Let me finish first, then you can come back. I think they want us to remain. They always have done. The problem is the civil servants and Theresa May want us really to remain. The civil servants.
You can't possibly think that all of that shoe leather was taken in desperately trying to keep us in. She was trying to negotiate us leaving.
The civil servants, we know the Remainers. They wanted to remain, really.
Brian, the majority of the people in this country want us to remain. So I don't know where that argument's going.
No, but what the civil servants were supposed to be doing was getting us the best deal they could.
Yeah.
And in truth, all they want to do was stay as close as they could and pretend to leave. So
I honestly don't know what people like you are objecting to in this deal. It seems like a perfectly reasonable deal, a perfect stepping stone to march forward into our glorious future, a close trading relationship with our biggest trading partner, rather than to turn our back on them and make enemies of the people that we sell half our stuff to.
There's only one in this argument trying to make enemies. That's the EU. The EU are the ones who try to make.
What is it that you object to about the deal that Theresa negotiated?
You know, the only thing they have in their hand, in them deck of cards, in their hand
is money, and jobs and trade and everything that we rely on. That's the only thing they've got.
The only thing they've ever done is threaten us. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
With what? Threaten us with what? What have they threatened us with?
They have never ever tried to negotiate a trade deal, which they need as much as us.
Brian, we haven't even started on the trade part yet. This is the deal to leave. The trade part comes later. This is supposed to be the easy bit.
No, we know, because the civil servants and Theresa May let them do that. Because they're still, in truth, they wanted to go along.
How can you not know this after 3 years? It's the negotiation at the moment is leaving. The trade negotiations start after we've left.
We know that because it was all cooked up. It was a deal set between the EU and our civil servants. It was all a bluff, right? You've got Boris coming in now.
I understand that that there's this vague sense of having one put over on you, and you're being conned. You're being conned in some way. But I really don't think you've got any concept of what's happening here, Brian.
Can I ask you a serious
After
question?
3 years, you weren't even aware that the negotiation that's going on at the minute isn't even about trade.
Right. Let's tell the truth, right? The EU want us to remain, really. They do. They want us to remain. We know that.
I think it's a bit charming, a little bit charming, and a little bit,
You won't let anybody talk, will
a
you?
little bit sad that you think that once we leave the EU, that your life is going to be somehow revivified. It's going to be transformed in some way. That finally you're going to achieve everything that you dreamt of in life. Brian, you can screw your eyes up and hold your breath, but you're never, ever, ever going to be a Kardashian. I hate to break the news to you. It's just not going to happen.
Nick, to the working class, right, to the working class, £50 or £60 a week is a bonus, or £100, and that could happen if it's a success. So
wait a minute. You think you're going to get free money?
You're talking rubbish again, Nick.
You think you're going to get free money?
I'm saying if it's a success and we make more money, this company makes more money, you could get the £100 more working class on your wage back a
That's
week.
right, you could do. Or, well, why stop there? You could get £1 million more.
No, but we're talking realistically, aren't we?
No, well, it's just as realistic. I'm just taking it a step further. All right, I'll row back a bit. We could all get £1,000 a week more.
Nick, have you heard that new record that's coming out?
I don't know. Is it the same as the old record? I think so.
Rock and roll!
All that scratching is making me itch. Put the needle in the record and the drum beat goes like this. Oh, I've heard that record over and over and over again. Change it, please. Nairn in the Highlands. Hello, Nigel.
That's me, yes. Well, we voted to leave.
What?
We voted to leave the European Union.
Who?
We are not stupid.
Who voted?
I voted and my wife voted.
Oh, that is the we, right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, my husband and I.
And many other people as well voted for that.
Who? I want their names.
The British people.
Oh, them.
Yes, and they are not happy with politicians that do not recognise their contribution to the governance of this land.
They're not happy.
The United Kingdom.
Hey, people of Great Britain.
Stop whining. The people of Great Britain know perfectly well what is a good idea. They don't need politicians and academics and media people to tell them what to think.
Yeah, experts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Experts and their so-called facts.
Yeah, these kind of people, I like to see them doing a real job of work. I used to work with a fellow called Geordie Donald. Geordie Donald came from Aberdeenshire, where the accent is called the Doric accent. We don't all speak like we come from Glasgow. And Geordie says, "Hi, John, hon."
Okay. God, you've been waiting like about half an hour to say that. But you're not stupid. At least you proved that. Walton on Thames. Andrew.
Hello. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. So, Boris, he's a funny one, isn't he? I think people give him a hard time because of, kicking the little kid over and that, that comical sketch that we saw of, well, it wasn't a sketch, but you know where I'm going at. And I think that he will be a good leader. I think that he...
But what makes you think that, based on his previous performance?
No, I think that, and I know this sounds like maybe perhaps incorrect comparison, but I see a bit of Winston Churchill in him in terms of his.
Please.
I know. Bear with me.
What you mean, drunk?
In terms of his ability to, go right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to follow through with it. But I hope that he is able to stick to that when it comes down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, but what in his previous performance in any of his positions leads you to feel that he is somebody who can stick to anything?
It's a good question. I think that the job that he's doing at the moment and his previous
self-promotion.
But I thought what? So first of all, I feel that Theresa May was handed a poison chalice, right?
Yeah, of course she was.
We know that.
Yes.
Right?
You call it a poison chalice. I call it a turd sandwich from her inept predecessor.
I think this is nonsense.
Yes. She tried to fashion I don't know what you. She tried to fashion a Michelin meal out of what she was given, but you can't do that with a turd sandwich. Even Heston Blumenthal will tell you that.
No, I completely agree. So I think that was a bit of a, and I can't say the word, but it was a bit of an ass show. Let's put it that way. It was a bit of a mess.
Yes.
I think that the hard Brexit thing, I think. I don't necessarily agree with it, but equally, what choice do we have? My personal view...
Just go with the deal that we've got. There's nothing wrong with the deal that we've got. The deal that we got gave us everything that we wanted, but the people who want us to leave with no deal will refuse to accept anything that is not nothing. They want nothing because they've already bet against the British economy, and it will only pay out hundreds and millions of pounds if the pound tanks significantly, more so than it has already. And that will happen with a no-deal Brexit, which is why I feel that a lot of the money people behind Brexit, because they all seem to be millionaires and billionaires, the people who are really trying to direct the country in their chosen way, they will make their money if we crash out with no deal, which is why they keep coming up with all these objections, which don't really make much sense to me about Theresa May's deal or any other kind of deal. Here's calling Tottenham. Hello, Saul.
Oh, hello.
Yes, Saul.
Oh, sorry. Nick, you keep everyone holding on for so long. No wonder people lose their thread.
Yes, sorry about that. It's all my fault. I take full responsibility. He's complaining about being made to wait too long.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
The last guy waited 45 minutes, but anyway. But anyway, I love your show.
Thanks.
I'd like to hear more callers, but then I do like listening to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just thinking, look.
Oh, God, he's got a request. I'll get Anne-Marie Minhall on the phone, and she'll take your request.
I think you've got. I just want to hear you try and find a positive in leaving, because we've just got to leave.
we just want Brexit.
No. We can't have enough of the referendum because it doesn't work with our democracy. So we'll be in exactly the same place.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
Well, because we got constituency democracy, so we can't have a referendum. It doesn't make any sense to have another referendum. We'll just come back.
It didn't make any sense to have the first referendum.
Yeah, but therefore we can't have another one because it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. We can't keep on,
if it's the only way to break the parliamentary deadlock, then will you tell me another way?
No, because that won't break the parliamentary deadlock because it's not to do with parliamentary politics. It's not to do with constituency politics. So we'll just end up going around full circle. And
then the only other way is to have a general election and hope that one party that has a positive policy on this issue gets a majority. But that's probably not going to happen either.
We can't have a general election because the general election will just be about leaving because there's all sorts of people knocking at the door that want to sort of do that. So everyone's so incensed by it now. Unfortunately, we've just got to leave. But we've got to leave. And so basically, Nick, you've got to find... is there any way we could just find a possible way through positive about leaving? Because I think I'm defeated.
In other words, you've been beaten into submission by people yelling at you.
Yeah, but also by you moaning. I just feel like there's got to be a positive because I've got to look for something.
Well, tell me what it is.
Well,
you've had 3 years to figure it out. What is it?
Right. Okay. Here's my positives. I think that as we're a large economy, it's going to be it's going to be a good thing since we're sort of a nation of self-employed people. It's going to be good. Everyone's going to be inspired to go out there, and I reckon we'll get more trade. So
more trade. Where's the more trade going to come from? What is it that we're going to buy or sell that we don't already buy and sell?
Maybe it will inspire us to just do something different.
Well, going to invent new things?
I don't know. But, we have to take a leaf out of the Boris thing here. I believe.
Oh, God.
Why not? Let's just do it.
You're just trolling me now. Back under your bridge, troll. Maidenhead. Hello, Sandra.
Oh, hi, Nick. I've been listening to your show for many, many years, but never actually rang in to speak to you. I know you're going to shoot me down. I actually rang to speak to you about Donald Trump's visit. But before I do, you said earlier about what laws have the EU brought in that nobody likes. Well, one for me is this light bulb business. They put our light bulbs, haven't they? Ruined them. I mean,
Sandra, please speak directly into the phone.
I am speaking into the phone. Can you hear me?
Well, I can now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, light bulbs.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they've ruined our light bulbs, But moving on about this Donald Trump visit.
Are we on speakerphone?
No.
Right. So please speak directly into the phone.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was.
You're getting very excited and you're just waving the phone around in front of your face. You're coming and going, Sandra.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Sorry.
The thing with light bulbs is they're trying to save the planet. The amount of energy that is used up with the old incandescent bulbs is phenomenal, and you can tell that that's true because when they're on, you can't touch them, can you? All of that energy is going into heat, not light. Therefore, if you multiply that by all of the light bulbs in the country or the world, the amount of energy that is required to produce the heat, not the light, is absolutely unbelievable. So somebody had to do something, and I think you'll find the entire world is either following along or taking the lead. I don't know who did it first, whether it was the EU or not, but congratulations to them. The problem for a short period was that bulbs hadn't been invented yet to recreate the light of the old incandescent bulbs. But the light bulb industry would never have done that, just like the car industry would never have made engines more economical to run if governments of the world had not enacted regulations that forced them to do it.
Oh, okay. But can I just mention about this Donald Trump visit, please?
Okay.
But my father served on D-Day. My uncle was shot down in a Lancaster in Bomber Command, and he lays in a French cemetery just before D-Day. And I know some people don't like Donald Trump, and I don't like some of the things he does and he says, but I think we should respect him as the President of the United States.
No.
Especially coming over on the 17th.
No. We will respect him as the President of the United States of America when he respects the office of the President of the United States of America, and that's not some child that sits in bed eating chicken out of a bucket searching the TV channels for positive images of himself while he tweets insults to former Miss Worlds.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying about him as a person, but the thing is, the people in America elected him to be president. He's now going to come over.
Not as many as voted for Hillary, but let's just let that pass.
Well, anyway, I just think we should show him the respect as President of the United States in memory of all those fallen soldiers.
Oh, please, Sandra, what on earth has that got to do with the fallen from old world wars? God, let's get off the History Channel, for crying out loud. This country is still fighting World War II.
I don't think we should forget World War II either. I really don't think we should forget all those people.
Yeah, I know, and the Germans are all Nazis and they're coming to get us. It's just painful, Sandra. Please, stop watching the Hitler programs. I can't stand it anymore. But thanks for the call. So nice to hear from you after all this while. Here's a call in Uxbridge. Hello, Lewis.
Oh, hello, Nick.
See, that's where Joe Brand and I went to university, Uxbridge.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it the Brunel University?
Correctamundo.
Oh. I don't really... I think throwing the old bill is a bit far-fetched for it, but I have to say one thing, is I'm going to the Brexit rally on the 30th of June, and you know, if someone decides to throw battery acid over my pretty face, I think I'll be
aggrieved.
Yeah.
Nobody should throw battery acid or anything else for that matter over anybody.
It's disgraceful. But anyway, moving on from that.
Yeah.
I'll give you my.
What is this march you're going on?
It's the Big Vision at the NEC in Birmingham. Tickets are £2.50.
Blooming much. What do you get for £2.50?
Nigel Farage.
Oh my God!
But you get him anyway, don't you? On LBC.
So you're paying £2.50, or he's paying you to show up?
No, I'm paying £2.50.
Right.
In addition, I'm paying £22 for a return fare on the train line. Probably £12 on TfL fares. I haven't had any work coming in freelancing wise for about 3 weeks now, so it's probably not going to work out as financially feasible.
So who is this? Who's organising this Big Vision? What is this Big Vision I hear so much about?
What it is, it's Brexit's manifesto. The Brexit Party introducing manifestos.
Oh, they've thought of one, have they?
Policy. They have. Well, they're thinking of one.
They've actually thought of a policy. Oh, that's nice.
I don't know what it is yet, but that's why I'm attending to see what it's all about, because it sounds very interesting. You know, the festivals aren't really my cup of tea. Where all my mates are down there this weekend, I'm just listening to you. You're making me less miserable, because you always make me laugh. You and Steve Allen. I've got cracked open a few cans of Foster's. I may have gout, but probably IBS.
I think gout is the constant. You have to. No, I see. I don't know what I'm talking about now. You do not take medical advice from me, or any other kind of advice for that matter.
Correct.
But isn't gout the product of having a more concentrated alcohol?
Well, I have every type of alcohol under the sun.
Oh, right. Okay. So you do not limit yourself only to beer.
I don't take any drugs like some of the politicians once did once upon a time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, once upon a time. Yeah, they did it just once, and it was a mistake, and they regret it. They've regretted it every moment since.
Oh, what's a load of cobblers, eh? What's a load of cobblers, eh? Honestly, he's taking toots of Richard Gere and Boris Johnson, who couldn't find Uxbridge with a sat-nav in my constituency, which is falling to pieces.
See, I always wondered about that. How often does Boris Johnson actually show up in Uxbridge?
Oh, I've never seen him there at all. I'm always in the Good Yarn every other day. I'm in the Good Yarn. When I get a moment spare, I go down and have a chat with the locals. I'm only 22.
Where's the Good Jar?
It's in the Uxbridge Good Yarn. It's one of the Weatherspoons. It's cheap and cheerful. It's on the high street. Right. And it's full of old boys for the time 20.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I worked in a pub for 5 years during the day, so I know exactly the kind of people that show up there.
Well, people like me, miserable, whinging, whining and moaning.
Yeah, that's about it.
Stop whining.
They sit at the end of the bar and nurse a bottle of stout for about 3 hours and complain and complain and complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I also have this little game I've got going on in the pub where who can cough the loudest. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
That's a game?
It's a game in my mind.
Well, how does the game work?
Well, someone starts off in the corner going, and then I might add my little bit.
Yeah.
And then it will go round and round in circles, and it just won't stop. It goes on all night, all day. Happens all the time.
Wow, that sounds like a fantastic game.
Boring.
Are you out of your mind?
Brilliant. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant when you're reading the paper as well.
Yeah.
When I was reading Andrew Pearce's column earlier on, just
coughing away.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Oh, yeah, well, I think that redefines the word good and fun.
Your call's important to us.
Yes, your call is important to us, Luke, in Bromley.
Hey, it worked. Hello, good evening.
What worked?
How are you doing? Well, I sent a message as a bit of a joke to say Luke's our next caller, and I am your next caller.
Oh, wow, spooky.
Well, anyway. Oh, right, so you didn't see that. Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay, well, welcome to Saturday, everybody. I'm phoning because actually I've just finished a meeting in our house, if you like. We have a sort of a Christian group on Friday nights. It's all very good, and we talk about stuff and also have a bit of a laugh.
Stuff?
Stuff, like life and about...
Oh, life. Don't talk to me about life.
It's basically like a real live LBC, except we have no wonderful presenter like yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, so...
Give me your address and I'll be right over.
You're most welcome one night. But Okay, listen. Right, no, you work for the night. You can't. But anyway, so I wanted to just say that one thing that we are quite happy about as Christians is that this whole Brexit.
You mean you?
No.
You're surely not speaking on behalf of all Christians.
Quite a few, because we've pretty much gone along the Brexit line.
But you just mean you, though.
Okay, I'll speak on my behalf, but I was speaking to a lot of people who have agreed this evening, and that is that all these the Brexit party and so on that's coming in and so on is actually bringing us more in line with British traditions, values, and essentially we're sort of rolling it back again a bit.
Rolling what back again?
Rolling back the liberal sort of progression that we've been seeing back in
liberal. In what do you mean by liberal progression? Because progression sounds quite good. Liberal also sounds quite good. So which bit are you complaining about?
It can be, but I think probably the fact that anything goes, anything that anyone says goes. And to be honest, I prefer to have some boundaries in life. As a Christian, obviously in the Bible it has boundaries, and therefore we prefer to stand by those.
But what do you mean by boundaries? You mean telling other people how to live their lives?
No, we don't tell other people. It's boundaries which are written in the Bible, and we
no, but you do tell other people. Follow what we say, or the conclusions that we have drawn from reading a book that was written by persons unknown thousands of years ago, or you will burn in hell. That kind of thing. Yes.
Well, okay. Listen. No.
Well, yes or no?
Not in that way. I wouldn't be so I wouldn't want to condemn anybody, individual people.
Really? I thought that's what religious types did all the time. I thought they lived to condemn other people.
Hello?
Hello?
Say again? Yes, I'm here. So, go on. What did you say?
What I just said. Never mind. Move on.
The mic. Yeah,
what?
Okay. You're scratching the mic every time you do that.
I'm not scratching anything other than my head at the moment.
Fine. So what's the most important thing to you then, as far as morality and in terms of sort of keeping this world in check without it all going sort of everyone against everyone and doing anything we like?
What? Do you want to run at that one again? What's your question?
That makes interesting radio, but it doesn't make interesting conversation.
Not so far, no, Luke. I can only imagine how fascinating your little in-house discussion was.
No, I think it's fine to be able to consider things in life which are very important. Marriage is important. Supporting one another, helping each other, giving money, loving one another.
Right, well, you sound like you live in a commune.
Not at all. I have lots of...
Sounds like a call from 1972.
I own quite a big company. I employ people. I do lots of good things. I'm sure you do too.
Well, I don't know about lots. What do you mean by lots of good things? What do you do that's good?
I basically, without saying any names, but I have I clean a company, a project which is £360 million project. That's quite good.
Right, so you're a rich man. Remind me what the Bible said. Remind me what the Bible said about rich men again, because I forget. What was it that they said again in the Bible? Oh, that's one of the things that people who proselytize just to skip over bits that are associated with them. They just think, oh well, that's we'll just ignore that part, and then we'll concentrate on this bit over here, which makes us feel superior. Okay, thanks a lot, Luke. I wish you all the best. Tammy says, I'm quite confused. I usually listen to Remainer Nick Abbot, but have heard and seeing thinks saying he now supports WTO Brexit. Were hey thoughted we'd get there, speaking sense so listening now, 3 exclamation marks, high church and hard Brexit. Does that make sense?
Negative.
Let's have Stockton on Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yes, hello, Nick.
Oh, my God.
Hey, you know what,
Nick? They're all crawling out of the woodwork tonight, aren't they?
Hey, you know what, Nick?
What? Why are you so...
We're only making plans for Nigel.
God, he
we
sings
only
too.
want what Nigel wants. You will be happy. You will be happy. What do you think about his ways doing, Nick?
Nigel.
What? Whining about being asked perfectly reasonable questions on television? I thought it was pathetic.
I'll tell you who else is going to be happy as well. Boris Johnson becomes Prime Minister.
Yeah, I seriously doubt he will.
They'll make a deal, won't they?
You'd have to be out of your mind to want to be Prime Minister at this point.
No, but if he becomes Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he'll make a deal with Nigel Farage.
I very much doubt it.
And that'll cut Labour completely out the picture. They'll be finished.
I very much doubt that the Conservative Party will do a deal with Nigel Farage.
Boris Johnson will.
I think they'd probably rather leap off Beachy Head.
Air deals, it's coming back, right? The
What on earth makes you think that Boris Johnson would do a deal with Nigel Farage? That Boris Johnson would want to share the limelight with Nigel Farage? You're out your mind, Brian.
They've got to. I'll tell you what. Can you just listen to the reason why I think it is?
As long as you don't sing it.
Right, their withdrawal deal, right, the fourth one, looks like getting voted down. She'll go with it. She'll go with the deal.
Yeah.
Say Boris Johnson becomes Prime Minister.
Ugh.
Right? And what you want with that deal, that withdrawal deal, it's got to go with her. That's finished as well. Right? And that leaves an open playing field for a Brexit MP, like Boris Johnson or Dominic Raab. Right?
Yeah, whoever the people can recognise the most. It's name recognition at this point. It's not what they will do or what they stand for or anything like that. Who's the most famous?
And what could happen after that, Nick, if that happens? She's gone, a withdrawal deal gone, you've got a Brexit Prime Minister in, and what could happen then is this. They've got to get credibility back, the Conservative Party. They've lost all credibility through not delivering Brexit. So they have to deliver a good Brexit, credibility back.
A good Brexit? What does that mean? A good Brexit? What does a good Brexit mean?
So what I think will happen is this.
What does a good Brexit mean?
Will you listen for a second, Nick? Just why I'm saying.
No, I'm just curious as to what you're talking about. What does a good Brexit mean?
A trade deal or leave with no deal. That is only clean Brexit. There's no clean Brexit staying in the customs union. They'll lose all credibility doing that because Conservative with them being in power.
Even though it might actually benefit the nation to do that.
No,
but we're past benefiting the nation. We just want what you want now. So whoever shouts the loudest gets what they want, and regardless of what it will do to the country. Nobody seems to be cared about that. There's care one jot about that anymore. It's just whoever shouts the loudest.
Nick, believe me, my crystal ball is better than yours. And they will have to do a deal with the Brexit Party. What will happen is...
But they won't, though. The Conservatives are not going to do a deal with Nigel Farage, Brian. You're out your mind.
There will have been another election.
They will if there's another election. Well, you think that there's going to be a reverse takeover by Nigel Farage of the Conservative Party?
No, Nigel Farage is not going to be in power. The Conservatives are still going to be in power. That's why they're going to make a deal with him. It cuts the Conservatives. What happens is, in all the Leave constituencies, right, what voted Leave, Nigel Farage will put somebody there to stop the Labour. The Leave will vote for him. And that leaves it wide open. That means for certain that Labour can't win a general election.
Well, neither can the Conservatives, and neither can Nigel Farage.
Nigel Farage doesn't want to win it. He just wants to deliver Brexit. He'll do the deal. You'll do the Brexit, Boris.
Well, you think that he'll just dry up and blow away once we're out of the European Union? You think that'll be it? He will no longer require his place in the limelight.
Nick, if their deal goes down, which it will, she goes. Brexit won, and the deal goes with it.
Yeah, you've said that already.
I'll bet you a tenner they do a deal.
Right, well, I don't bet, but particularly with people that I don't know on the phone, but they're not going to do a deal. Boris Johnson is not going to share a stage with Nigel Farage. That's never going to happen. Boris Johnson has grander ideas than that. He sees his place in history, not making some grubby deal with a bloke off the telly. Come off it, Brian. You're not that daft. Let's have a call in Ipswich. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Nick.
Gary, I am great, mate.
I've listened to you for a number of years now.
Yeah. And you hate this show.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like it when it's funny, but sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's serious. Sometimes it's a little bit off the wall.
Yeah, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's green.
But you've got 6 hours a week And in those 6 hours, you've not given me one good reason why I should be thinking I should stay in the EU. And even though you say we over this side that want to leave didn't know what we were voting for, I don't actually think you guys...
No, that's not... No, it's not that you didn't know what you were voting for. It's everybody voted for their own thing. But people are trying to rewrite history and claim that everybody who voted out for the same reason. They didn't. Nor did they vote out wanting the same outcome.
You see your analogy about the two boxes, A and B and whatever.
Yeah.
Who on ever thought that we were going to get £350 million back straight away for the NHS? Nobody in their right mind would have believed...
Well, Gary, if you've met people, you'll know that the vast majority are not in their right mind.
Well, we know this because you've had a poor lady that said she's watched 8 years of Game of Thrones in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, that's like throwing away 3 weeks of your life.
No, it's not. Not if you're enjoying it. It isn't. That'd be a great way to spend 8 weeks or 3 weeks.
Isn't there such wonderful things going on in life?
Well, you can do that and watch television as well. You know. Well, that's like saying listening to the radio is wasting your life, or looking at flowers. I mean, if you spend all day walking through the park and looking at flowers, is that wasting your life because you're not doing something else?
I listen to the radio when I'm in the car, when I'm in the truck, because it's a great way to pass time as I'm driving up and down the highways of life.
Yeah.
You know, geez.
Mm-hmm. Well, why not? But does that suggest that it is not a good idea just when you're not doing anything at home to sit in quiet contemplation and listen to the radio?
I've got too much going on, mate. And
like what? Why is your life so busy? Huh?
Well, I've just had a great little breakaway. I've had four nights in a lovely little hotel up on the East Coast, where I was told the weather was going to be awful this week on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually got a suntan, and I feel fit and healthy. I've been out in the sun all day in the fresh air.
Getting skin cancer.
See, there's a negative that you come up with every time. You can't see the positive in life, and that's the weary thing about sometimes. You should be more positive in your attitude.
But by positive, you mean agree with you about Brexit?
No,
yes, that's exactly what you mean.
No, if we got differing opinions, but you see, the differing opinion about Brexit was 17.4 million voted.
Oh God, a third, a third.
16.8 million voted to stay.
Yeah, about a third.
And the rest of them couldn't be bothered to get off their butt.
About a third. Yeah, there's a third and a third and a third. Yeah.
Yes. So at the end of it, we weren't told if it's 0-0 at 90 minutes and somebody scores in injury time, that's not going to count, were we? You know, it's all
I don't follow that. But what I said about the boxes is absolutely true. Somebody said, well, here's box A and here's box B. Now, you don't know anything about what's in either of those boxes. We understand that. But so I'm going to tell you what's in the box. In box A is a vast amount of money, and in box B is a dog turd. Now, which would you like? And people said, I'd like box A, please, because I'd rather have a box of money than a box of doggy-doo. But they lied about what was in box A. Box A contained doggy-doo too, or they switched it the other way around, or whatever you want to say. But they lied to you about what was in the box. But because you voted for the box based on their lies, they then claim that is the democratic will of the people. It's not.
So what was in box B then? This dog turd.
Yeah.
What was in there with this dog turd?
The dog.
A load of people spinning yarns. Was George Osborne in there? Was Obama?
No,
in there?
the dog turd was in box A, and the dog was in box B.
Well, I look at it this way. I'm all for a challenge, and if somebody said to me in 1975, I wasn't old enough to vote, But I actually would have voted to join the EEC, as it was then, because they told me this was going to allow us to put our trade across borders without paying tariffs.
And it did.
And yeah, but they didn't tell us what the rest of it was.
Right.
They didn't.
Okay. Well, I could ask you about what it is that is aggrieving you about what happened next, but you probably wouldn't have an answer other than saying all of it.
No. What aggrieves me is there's 100,000 people in Brussels and The Hague and Strasbourg that are on £100,000 salaries or euro salaries with pensions. We are just becoming congested with politicians, layers and layers of them, that are unaccountable, and they're making our politicians unaccountable.
They're not unaccountable, Gary, any more than the politicians and the civil servants in this country are unaccountable. In fact, more so. They are more accountable. Our last two, in a few weeks or months, our last two MPs will not have been voted for by the population. Our head of state has never been voted for. What sounds democratic about that?
Well, that's because she got in by default. She came.
Are you talking about the Queen or Theresa May?
Theresa May initially, and then she had the election in 20. It's getting so far back now, 2017, that actually was done on purpose to devolve Parliament into a hung Parliament. It was done on purpose so that neither Labour nor Conservative would get blamed.
Don't be daft, lad. This is conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat nonsense.
And consequently, they dumbed down Parliament. And look what's happened. People just haven't got an iota.
Dumbed down Parliament. What does that mean?
Well, they've done it so that Parliament hasn't done anything of any note for nearly 3 years now.
And that's whose evil plan?
This is the plan of Europe, Parliament.
It's the plan of Europe.
Certain officials within the civil service, big business, Gina Miller working for George Soros.
Oh, no. No, I'm going to have to stop you there. George Soros. Yeah, it's all George Soros' fault. Is anybody interested in facts?
No.
All right, I'll give you some. Eurosceptic politicians in this is The Economist. But it's called The Economist. What do they know about the economy? Eurosceptic politicians and newspapers, especially British ones, are fond of referring to the officials of the European Union as unelected bureaucrats. No! The President of the European Parliament is in fact an elected German MEP. Let's have a call in Banstead. Anne.
Hi, Nick.
Anne.
I voted Leave, and now I wish I hadn't. I wish I voted Remain.
God, I've heard that so many times.
For purely selfish reasons.
Yeah.
My son was really, really ill, and moving to Spain up in the mountains with other Brits that are over there has saved his life.
In what way?
He was a heroin addict, Nick.
What, you can't get heroin in Spain?
Nick, it's not funny. Come on now.
Well, how did
really
moving to Spain cure him of being an addict?
Because he went through rehab. He was at death's door because he relapsed, okay? And one of his friends who made it through rehab, who lives in the wilderness in Spain, has taken him over there. And within a couple of months, I've got my son back, who would be dead now if he was still here. So I'm just worried now. When Brexit kicks in, what's going to happen? Have our people all got to come home, or what's going to happen when Brexit? You tell me. You're more educated than me.
I don't know nothing, Anne. Nobody does anymore. We've got no idea what's going to happen. You'll probably be able to stay over there, but we don't know, do we?
The reason people voted Brexit, Nick, is because it affected working class people, and that's why they.
What do you mean it affected them?
Well, being with Europe, we were competing for jobs with people, and
we're going to be competing with jobs with people from all over the world from now until the end of time, until the planet blows up. We're going to be competing with people internationally for jobs.
Yeah, but our wages are low, Nick.
That's got nothing to do with the European Union, Anne.
No, I know. That's why I'm talking to you. You seem to know more about it than
I don't know anything about anything. Trust me. On that, I am absolutely certain.
Well, anyway, on the subject of Boris and Jeremy, I don't think either of them are fit to govern. But I suppose we should have Boris because Jeremy desecrated the NHS, didn't he, when he was a health minister? So what do we do? He
desecrated it. I had no idea.
Yeah, he tried to shut down Lewisham A&E and things like that, and he's just telling people what they want to hear.
Yeah, well, they both are. You think that the NHS is safe in Boris's hands?
No, I don't. I don't think anybody from any party is fit to govern our country, quite frankly.
No one?
No, I think we're in crisis, I really do, and I feel like joining my son in Spain, to be honest.
Okay, I'll see you at the airport. Pack some sunscreen. Thanks a lot, Anne. Archway. Hello, Terry. That didn't work. I'll try it again. Archway. Hello, Terry.
Buongiorno. Hello.
Yes, Terry.
Hi, Nick. Well, I basically am surprised I'm on the radio today because I've only phoned up to have a moan. And when you talk about
moaning and whinging and whining, yeah.
When you talk about just now the trade bodies coming out and saying, it's all going down the pan, and it's a bit like a bunch of pyromaniacs saying it's all on fire. When you listen to the evidence when it's presented coherently, it's very easy to see why we can't compete. 75% of all cost increase across energy-intensive users is because of European Union climate policy.
Oh, yeah. It's all the EU's fault. Mm.
Well, you can't separate the truth from the lies if you're not going to listen to real statistics.
Dude, the collapse of the car industry has got nothing to do with the EU.
The collapse of the car industry is another story, but that's because, whilst great
Well, that's the
things
biggest
are
part of
going
our
on,
manufacturing industry.
People don't seem to be coming into the country and having any problem tooling up, getting second-hand vans and taking their skills out and dominating.
Second-hand vans has got nothing to do with making cars.
But look. Where do we go with any of this? Where do we go with the Trump thing? I'm not a huge Trump fan as I was at the beginning when it was just between him and Clinton. I've seen his lack of action on the North Pacific Ocean problems and stuff we've spoken about before that you don't like speaking about. But he's just said it looks bad. We'll take a look, and the world spins faster and faster, and he goes.
Yeah. Just trust me. I'm a really smart person, or words to that effect. Yeah.
Indeed, there's some things that are just beyond him. And when he speaks about the NHS, he probably doesn't. He's never been.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't know what the NHS was.
So I forgive him because he probably thought he was being kind, saying, "Of course we'll have a look."
No, that's not being kind. Telling people that everything is on the table is acting the big business tough guy. That's not doing us a favour, even if he didn't know what the NHS was.
It's buying time, and he bought some time.
Buying time? What do you mean?
Buying time to get out the country without getting milkshakes, But, bless him and bless the Queen and bless everyone. But,
I know that people are keen on throwing milkshakes about, but I would seriously counsel against trying to milkshake the President of the United States of America. I think he's got teams of people to prevent that very thing happening.
But did you notice, though, that when we recently had this, I can't even remember what it was about now, European election? The whole country went a different colour. The whole of England went a different colour.
What do you mean?
Well, it
colour?
Voted overwhelmingly for this new shade of Brexit, didn't it? This Brexit party, and now
the country voted overwhelmingly. What are you talking about?
Well, they topped the charts, number one.
Yeah, what was the turnout?
You can't argue
what
with
was
that.
Yeah, I can. What was the turnout?
Well,
yeah, exactly. So they got 30% of 30%. What does that add up to, Terry?
But then when we look at the propaganda,
I think it's about 10%, maths fans. Yeah, which is hardly overwhelming.
But then when we look at that result, and then we look at what's happened with it, it's almost like the call went out to the hard left to say, you know, we're not fighting to survive now, we're fighting to win, you know.
The hard left. There's people on the left that want to leave just as much as people on the right. This is not a left-right issue.
Okay, well, if you start from there, then we have to cut a little bit more of a line on this. You know, I phoned up because I was getting really depressed. I mean, I love you,
Oh,
mate.
God,
You're
another one that's getting depressed. Cheer up, mate.
But, you know, I think sometimes you have to give us
Just
a bit
think,
more credit.
what if he was depressed, just think, what would Michael Gove do? Do that.
Well, you know, there's a whole panoply of things he could do, from up the nose to, you know, in the bong or whatever, but he chooses to basically...
If your reception isn't very good, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, he said bong, not anything else that begins with a B. Keep it clean, Terry. Oh, I can't speak to anybody that is as depressed as you sound. Cheer up. Here's a call in Brighton. Hello, Nick.
Hello, mate. How you doing, all right?
Yes, good, thanks.
How lovely. Yeah, I just want to pick up a couple of things you were saying earlier, actually.
Lovely.
How's your day, all right?
All right.
Sunny Brighton's quite nice today. It's
I
lovely down
bet
there.
it is.
Yeah. So you're talking about Monaco, as in it's like the same as it's going to be here in Great Britain. Like,
yes.
We're the fourth biggest or fifth biggest country financially in the whole of the world. So I'm not sort of getting where you're getting at, and I feel like you're putting it all down a bit. Do you get my feeling?
No, I don't get your feeling.
Yeah, you sure you've not been a bit negative and trying
Who,
to
me?
Yeah, you've been a bit negative. Come on, Nick, you know you've been a bit negative, just a tiny bit.
Nick,
a little bit, just a tiny bit.
A tax haven only benefits those who are rich enough not to avoid paying tax. I'll just have a wild stab in the dark here, Nick. I'm guessing that you're not rich enough to not pay tax, correct?
That's correct.
Then it's not going to do you any favours. If we rush to the bottom of the barrel and start scraping it to persuade the international criminal super rich to come and park their money here, even more so than we're doing already, it's not going to do any favours to those who aren't absolutely loaded. If you're a millionaire, you'll do just fine. If you're a billionaire, you'll do better. It's all the rest of us poor dopes that are going to be screwed, basically. Because a country only works if a significant number of people earn enough to pay tax to keep that country going. And if your entire business model is to attract those who don't pay tax, well, who's going to be paying all the tax then? I mean, who's going to be left to pay all the tax to keep all the things that we rely on as a country, the NHS and the police and the people that do the potholes in the road and all of that jazz? Once per show. Stockton-on Tees. Hello, Brian. Oh, no, I've just been waylaid. It's like I've just been held up at the pass.
Andy Singer, tennis player.
What?
He's British.
Yes.
Because he's been successful. You, Nick, are Scottish because you're unsuccessful. haven't you got it yet? Come on. Boris is the man.
He's the man. The man.
Everybody.
I'm not even sure he's a man.
Everybody wants to talk about him.
Yes.
He is the man of the Conservative Party. That's why he's going to become Prime Minister. Because he is the biggest name in the Conservative Party.
Yeah, that's
Even
right.
if you like him or dislike him.
Yes, but that's not a good reason to elect a leader, to elect him leader.
It doesn't matter. He's going to be. You can't stop it.
I know that.
I mean, you're going to read out YouGov thing, which is, I've read about it. You never get anything like YouGov. You're going to say that Hunt is closing up on him.
They just asked people their opinions. There's nothing wrong about that. These
never
are
get
people's.
anything right, YouGov.
These are people's opinions. They're not making this stuff up.
Yeah, it's a YouGov poll.
Yes, but it's a YouGov poll on attitudes, not on whether people are going to vote one way or the other. These are attitudes. What do you think?
At this moment in time, Hunt is no good to be Prime Minister.
Why not?
We've got to have somebody who is on the same level with charisma, with everything, to challenge Nigel Farage.
It doesn't make no difference.
and
Nigel
Boris is the only man.
Farage is never going to be the Prime Minister of this country. The Conservative Party are never going to go into a coalition with the Nigel Farage party.
Nigel Farage.
And nobody else will go into a coalition with him. So all he's going to do is to swipe the Conservatives' feet out from under them, and then Uncle Jezza, or whoever happens to be in charge of the Labour Party, will step nimbly over them and accede to the throne.
If Boris Johnson doesn't deliver Brexit on the 31st of October, Nigel Farage could become Prime Minister. That's how serious it's getting.
Oh, please, Brian. He couldn't even get his man over the line in Peterborough, which is about the most Brexity place in the country.
Hey, they're looking into it, by the way, Nick.
Oh,
I think it was fixed.
Yeah, sure it was.
You've never mentioned that, have you?
Yes,
You've never mentioned that.
Whining.
Yeah.
The bloke who was on the platform with
Fix.
him.
Hey, Brian, let me throw this back at you. You lost. Get over it.
No, you haven't lost it yet. The police are inquiring.
You lost. Get over it.
All
You know,
right.
I've heard that so many times. People like you have been throwing that at me so many times over the last few years. You lost. Get over it, they said. Hey.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Yeah. But you lost, Brian. Get over it. Hey, I like the sound of that. Hey, Brian.
Other.
You lost. You lost. Get over it. Hey,
But we don't know yet. It might be overturned.
Hey,
yet.
Brian. You lost. Get over it.
Hey, it doesn't matter about losing that one. You can lose a battle as long as you win the war.
You think that Nigel Farage is going to win the war and become the Prime Minister of this country? You're out of your mind. I mean, previously I did think that you were, a little bit... but now you have confirmed my suspicions.
If you don't deliver Brexit on the 31st of October, which probably won't.
And I don't believe that Boris Johnson will either.
Boris Johnson will.
No, he won't. What on earth from his record makes you think that you can trust him on this?
Right, you've had Theresa May.
No, answer the question.
Just a second. I'm coming to it.
Oh, okay. A circuitous route. Go ahead. We'll take the...
You've had Theresa May 108 times saying we're going to deliver it in March. She never.
This is the scenic
Now,
route.
will you imagine if Boris Johnson keeps saying this October the 31st and he doesn't deliver it?
Yes. Then what?
He'll go the same way as Theresa May. He has got to deliver it, Nick.
What in your fevered imagination do you think will happen?
What will happen, but it doesn't matter. He will have to deliver Brexit on the 31st of October.
And if he doesn't?
In some form.
And if he doesn't? In some form? What does that mean?
Well, he's going to go back to this Theresa May deal and try to get the backstop done. But that should be binned, really, because there's a lot of other things wrong.
Here's the news, Brian. They're not going to bin it. They've said over and over and over again they're not going to bin it. They're not going to throw Ireland under the bus just to appease Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Why Varadkar is? Varadkar's thrown it under the bus.
No, he hasn't. It's the opposite of the truth.
Right.
I don't know Brian. What is in the water in Stockton-on-Tees? What have you been smoking up there?
Want to score some pot?
The ERG might make him. They might join the Brexit Party if he doesn't deliver it on October the 31st. The ERG will make him.
Yeah. You think that Jacob Rees-Mogg is going to bow down to Nigel Farage's rule? You are out of your mind.
Jacob Rees-Mogg is very friendly with Farage now.
Well, it don't make no difference whether he's friendly with him or not.
His sister's joined them. Hey, I'm telling you, Nick. I'm telling you. If he doesn't deliver it on October the 31st, like you say,
he probably won't.
Look, the Conservative Party is finished if they don't.
The Conservative Party will probably be out of power for a while, but then they've been in power for a while. If you just look at the history of the country, parties tend to be in power for about 10 years, and then they're out of power for about 10 years. More or less, that's the way it goes. And so they've had 10 years, and the country thinks, right, that's it. Next. And so we'll have the Labour Party for 10 years. We're certainly not going to have the Nigel Farage Party for 10 years.
Well. The Labour Party's in big trouble as well. Brexit is not... The Labour Party need Brexit to be over now, as much as the Conservatives. Brexit are moving into both of them. You're blind, Nick. Nigel Farage could be Prime Minister.
Not a chance. Particularly as he is the one that said out loud that we should have a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
And where does that leave you?
We're only making plans for
Nigel. Yeah, Nigel's not making plans for us. There's not a moment to lose. Ealing, hello, Anthony.
Oh, hello, Nick. Well, for the sake of my
relatives in Canada, in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and Vancouver, and you're Canadian. Let's get some facts out, because what you're giving out is opinions. And I mean, you've got so much wrong. Where do we start?
I don't know. Start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Right, we'll start with Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, who I'm not going to vote for. I don't support him, so don't worry about that. He said he would give out his policies.
It doesn't rhyme with garage, you know.
I'm a nutcase.
Yeah, but if I can get a word in edgeways,
he rhymes with garage.
He said he would give out his other policies after the election.
After he's thought them up. Yes, can't wait.
Yeah, he said that, and you didn't say that. Now,
well, I can't talk about his policies if he hasn't invented them yet.
No, he's going to give them out after. I'm just telling you what
when
he
he's
said.
thought of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say that. You said you didn't have any.
Well, it doesn't. If he hasn't got any yet, then he doesn't have any yet.
He has them yet. He chooses not to give them out anyway. Don't
I see. Right.
Yeah.
So he's got policies, but he doesn't want to tell us what they are yet. I see.
Well, that's up to him. If you go to the party that I'm an ex-Labour guy, still pretty Labour, still pretty left, and I should vote for UKIP. They do have policies which sound very socialistic, and their policies are to nationalise all utilities. I have a lot of trouble with utilities. Now that sounds like Labour. Labour used to talk about that.
You have trouble with utilities? What trouble do you have with utilities?
Well, you've got Thames Water, which has forced its way in here. You've got the railways. You've got the
forced
gas.
Its way in?
All made private by the bloody Tories.
Yeah.
So, and I'm against all that because I'm coming from the left, okay, not coming from the right, and I go for socialistic sort of things. And there's this business about Northern Ireland. Well, people the reason don't think about Northern Ireland because Theresa May has this terrible alliance with this awful DUP party, which is an absolute appalling party.
I said that people didn't think about the border between the north and the south before the referendum. Nobody thought about it. You did.
Well, I did, because what I would have done... what I would have done with Northern Ireland, I've got no time for, I'm sorry for the people who live there, I would have given them a referendum to say that they could go back with the South or become an independent country, which Scotland wants to become. But we should have given that offer to Northern Ireland.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean Scotland? What do you mean Scotland wants to become a separate country? You mean some people in Scotland?
Yeah, and I don't agree with it.
Well, whether you agree with it, it's neither here nor there.
Well, they didn't vote for it, thanks to the Scottish. But all this business has been caused by the awful Tony Blair, who invented those parliaments. Wales didn't want one. And it's all his damn fault. And when it comes to the car industry...
It's Tony Blair's fault.
We don't have any
Which bit is Tony Blair's fault?
It is. Most of all this business we've got, with immigration is Tony Blair's fault because of his policies.
How is it Tony Blair's fault?
He's not affected by immigration.
How is it Tony Blair's fault?
Well, if you don't know, there's a very good book out by Douglas Murray.
No, I'll wait till the video comes out. But how is it Tony Blair's fault? Tony Blair hasn't been in power since 2007.
Yes, but he started all the problems we've got with too many people coming in. And
what do you mean by too many? We have full employment. How is it too many?
Too many it's a bit like Greece. Greece hasn't got the economy and we don't have the accommodation. If we don't care a damn about English people like me that don't have a lot of money, then care about the workers coming into the EU who have to sleep in the street.
Yes, Anthony, that is not the fault of... That's not the fault of Tony Blair. Tony Blair has not been in power since 2007.
Tony Blair, and if you don't want to read a book by Douglas Murray...
No, I don't.
Up to you, but the point is, remain ignorant, which you are, as far as that goes.
No, not reading a book that you just mentioned is not the same as being ignorant, Anthony.
Well, it is, because it's all down there in chapter and verse.
Well, what that man wrote in that book is neither here nor there. You cannot get beyond Tony Blair ceased to be in control of this country in 2007. What year is it?
Yes, but he laid the problems that we have today.
So that has nothing to do with... So the immigration level in this country has nothing to do with Theresa May?
Because he didn't have any control of it.
No, listen to me. Listen to me. The immigration problem, as you put it, in this country has nothing to do with Theresa May.
Nothing to do with Theresa May. Well, it has a lot to do with it as well. She's carried on the not controlling anybody. We haven't got the houses or the facilities. You don't care about
Yes,
English
the
people
problem
like me.
there is our. It's not. Oh God.
Well, anyway.
The problem with the lack of housing is that successive governments since the Second World War have failed to produce enough housing in this country. Germany has been able to do it. We haven't. Some years have gone by and we've built 5,000 houses.
Yes, but in 1978, the hideous English started to put housing in as an investment. And that's why the prices went up from 1978 onwards.
The prices have gone up because of a lack of supply, which is the fault of successive governments. That's the problem, and has precious little to do with Tony Blair, who has not had this on his desk for 12 years.
Well, he started it off.
Oh.
If you read the book, which you won't read...
No, I'm not going to read the book, just some random book that you've gleaned all of your information from, Anthony. I'm not remotely interested.
I know, it's been reviewed on LBC.
Oh, well, it's been reviewed. You should have said. Somebody else has read it, you mean?
Yeah, well, more than just me, but the LBC people... Yeah. You're not interested in history. You're not interested in social problems.
I'm not interested in what... I'm not interested in what you perceive as being the truth.
Well, ask any Remainer, and I'm not a Remainer, if they were homeless, if they had any trouble with housing,
that has nothing to do with Tony Blair. It has more to do with the current Conservative government than it has to do with Labour. And since the war, the Conservatives have been in power for about twice as long as Labour have. So it's down to them. If you want to apportion blame, it's the Conservative government and successive Conservative governments. I mean, Labour do not get a clean sheet on this. But it is because there is a lack of housing in this country. Too few houses have been built. Ipswich, hello, Gary.
Hiya, Nick. How you doing?
I am great, mate.
Do you know, I swear
Don't do it.
I saw Ken from the Highlands on the telly at the protest during the week. There was a middle-aged elderly guy sort of with a stick with a placard saying God is good or whatever, he spoke in a Scottish accent.
A Scottish burr.
Yeah, and it sounded just like Ken. I couldn't believe it. There he was, in the middle of it, the thick of it.
Right. Who's Ken?
Wait, he's the star of your show.
Oh, the fellow that says, "Have you heard the word of Jesus, Nick?"
Yeah,
that guy.
That's the guy.
Painful.
You know all these people that went to go to Glastonbury and leave all their rubbish and tents and whatever?
Yeah.
I used to think these are the sort of people that cared about the world and the planet.
No, they pretend that they do. They pretend to themselves that they do.
And they were the ones that would be up in London protesting against Trump and climate change and extinction and now you're telling me they don't care.
Well, they don't care if it causes an inconvenience.
So.
But in that regard, they're just like everybody else.
So I'm totally disillusioned now. Yeah. I'm just totally bewildered.
Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, Gary, but nobody cares about anything at all other than themselves and their personal pleasure at this moment.
I would have thought you would have talked about the Change UK party, because that would have been fun.
If I had the funeral march on my sound effects board, I'd be playing it right now. But I don't, so I'll give them this instead. The Change UK party.
When that guy before the break was talking about meditating and levitating and God knows what, Aidan, I thought he was going to say, put your hands out in front, open them up, look into your hands, and it's... I thought it was going to be a Brexit-free zone, you know.
Just put your hands out in front of you and make a squeezing motion.
I will be so to women. I cherish women.
Yeah, just do. What would Donny do?
Oh dear. Oh, he'd have a good laugh at all of these people, I tell you. I actually will give you Labour won fair and square on Thursday. So why can't you accept that we won fair and square on the 23rd of June?
Because there was nothing fair and square about it. It was a crooked referendum that was won by dark money that came from who knows where.
Well, I wonder how much money Labour spent canvassing and doing the rounds on this.
Well, it's completely irrelevant. If they were within the rules, it's utterly irrelevant how much money they spend.
Well, I reckon they must have busted a gut to get.
Well, so did the Brexit Party bust a gut? Are you kidding? Like they weren't trying? They weren't expecting to win?
Well, we only had a few weeks, didn't we?
Oh, please. Nigel Farage has been at the tip-toppermost of the political discourse for years now. They didn't come out of nowhere. It's the Nigel Farage party.
Well, what I don't understand is the EU want to investigate Nigel for taking supposedly money from Aaron Banks, and yet they probably wouldn't have investigated Peter Mandelson for taking money from Jeffrey Robinson.
They probably wouldn't.
They probably
what does that mean? They probably wouldn't.
Look, if Mandelson
Here,
was,
Gary, you don't. I've got to go. Here's a caller in Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian. Oh,
yeah, good evening, Nick.
Oh, no. Oh, Brian, you keep coming back like a hemorrhoid. No,
Hallelujah.
No offence.
Hallelujah. She has finally gone. We're overdue. She'd lost the plot.
Yeah, you sound overjoyed, Brian. This is you happy.
And this mess she's left, the mess she's left for the next person coming in.
The mess she's left was the mess she inherited.
No, it's a mess she designed.
No, she didn't design it. Her dopey predecessor designed it.
I think this is nonsense.
You know something? You keep calling David Cameron all the time.
Yeah.
I think Brexit will become a success in the end.
Yeah, no
doubt. Will be a big success.
Yeah, sure.
And you'll be having eaten more humble pie over David Cameron. Because David Cameron will go from zero to hero when it happens.
David Cameron is never going to be a hero. He's just not the heroic type.
We'll find out in a couple of years about that, won't we?
No, we'll find out now.
And I'll tell you what, good riddance to Theresa May. She's the worst Prime Minister in a long time. You know, she's out of the deck. She didn't know what she was doing. I mean, to bring that back a fourth time, but stop talks with Labour. Labour broke talks off.
And who do you think would replace her and do a better job?
Well, what did she try to do? She
tried to fashion a route down the centre to displease the least number of people.
She was that disillusioned. She would give away the crown jewels just to get her deal through. It was a joke.
It wasn't really her deal. It was the only deal that was available to her. And it's going to be the only deal that's available to whoever takes over.
Anyway, she's past news. I don't want to talk about that.
You brought her up.
Yeah, she was useless. Right.
And now she's out of our life. Right. She's out of our life, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I don't know whether to live or die. And it cuts like a knife. She's out of our life.
You know, I'm looking forward to in a couple of years.
What?
When Brexit is a big success. I'm looking forward to the faces on the establishment when the Queen says, "Arise, Sir Nigel." I just want to see the look on the faces. It's probably the Queen's as well. And it's going to happen.
Brian, you're a nutcase.
I'm a nutcase.
I'm telling you, he will go down in history as the best politician ever to have lived.
Yeah, sure.
He will.
Well, the politician that rails against career politicians as a career politician, that guy.
You were going to have to eat 17.4 million pieces of humble pie, Nick.
Well, I like pie.
You're going to have to eat a lot of it.
Okay.
But she has left a mess. Howie, Nick.
Can I have ice cream with the pie? It helps it slide down more easily.
Yeah, you can if you want. But, I mean, what happens now, Nick? You know, they bring maybe Boris in, his favourite.
Yeah.
And
well, his favourite where he lives.
Well, his favourite with the Bogies. He's odds on with the Bogies. I think he's going to be. You know, I think Rob's second favourite.
Yeah.
Gove is about 10-1 nearest to him. Gove, Michael Gove.
Yeah,
And,
but like Ken Clark said today, the most popular and the most obvious rarely actually get the job.
Yeah, I seen Ken Clark today, and you were going on about people saying how sorry they were for it, and he was the biggest culprit, Ken Clark. I fawned over it and that.
Well, at least you haven't said anything positive, Brian. But then, in all the times that I've talked to you, and it seems like forever, that
I'll tell you what,
you've never said anything positive about anybody at all, ever, apart from Nigel Farage.
I don't think Corbyn's going to be long behind her, actually. I think he'll go as well, because Watson wants him out, Keir Starmer wants him out. They keep going on about second referendum. In truth, the main thing they want is getting Jeremy Corbyn out.
Well, there's a lot of people that think we should have a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
But the thing is, right, we're only making plans for Nigel. I'll keep saying that, you keep putting that on Nick, you know. And
yeah, I never was that keen on that song.
Who sung it? There's, for 2 points a quiz. Who sung it?
Making Plans for Nigel was by not Squeeze. It was by. Well, no, wait a minute.
Go on. Don't look in your phone.
I'm not going to look it up on my phone. I promise you. I'm going to Making Plans for Nigel. British Steel. No, I don't want a clue. I don't want a clue. I'm going to sit here in silence until I get it. If it takes me 3 hours.
I've got another question for you after this, so quickly.
Oh God.
Another quiz question.
We're all just making plans for Nigel. It's not.
It's 3 letters.
It's not
Squeeze,
letters. Is it? It's
It's 3 letters.
See, no, I didn't want a clue.
Well, you're taking too long.
Too long for who? Wait, are you busy? Have you got somewhere to go? Taking too long. You mean I'm taking up your precious time on air? Is that what you mean?
The first letter is X.
S.
The first letter X. The first letter is X.
X.
Yeah.
T.
Go on, keep going. That's right.
C.
C. You got it, mate. You're there.
Yeah,
yes.
there you
2
go.
points.
XTC.
One more question for you. What is Theresa May's maiden name?
Failure. Thanks a lot, Brian. We don't accept questions on this show. Here's a call in Stockton. Hello, Dave.
Hiya. Hi, Nick.
Dave.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great, mate.
Good. My question was...
Dave, are we on speakerphone?
Yes, I am. Do you want me to turn it off?
Oh, no. It's worse than I thought.
Nick.
Yes.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, it's like you just stepped into the room. You just stepped into my life. Yeah, like you're here in person now. Go ahead.
Hi, Nick. My general question is why do people feel that if people are earning more than a certain limit, they should pay a higher percentage? That to me doesn't really make sense. I don't understand why someone who earns more than X amount should pay 50% of their salary, and someone that earns more than a different amount should earn 25 or 30% of their salary.
Well,
it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, okay. Let me see if I can pick it apart for you. Do you enjoy living in an ordered society?
Yes.
Right. Do you enjoy leaning in times of emergency on the health service?
Yes.
Do you appreciate public education?
I do.
All of these things must be paid for, Dave. We are at the moment, even though we are constantly being told that this is the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, we can't afford that. We can't even afford to keep the streetlights on. And we've got people who are suggesting that we take less tax from those that can afford it the most. That makes no sense.
I disagree, because why should someone that earns, say, £35,000 pay 30% when someone who earns £55,000 pay 50%?
Yes.
If that's the demarcation that's made, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, it does. See, the one thing that people, I'm not suggesting that this is you, but there is a certain misunderstanding that people think when they hear that you pay a certain amount if you earn say £100,000, you pay 50%, say,
Yeah.
And if you only earn 10,000, you only pay nothing actually. So 20,000, you pay 25, whatever it is. You don't pay the 50% on all of it. You only pay the 50% on that amount that you earn above the threshold. Now, I understand that you get that, but not everybody does.
Yeah, I do. But the point is that the real rich in our society don't pay anything. They pay literally nothing. And that was proved by the Panorama documentary on BBC recently, where that ultra-rich Romanian who was a UK taxpayer paid £35.20 or something like that. But, you know, the normal UK taxpayer pays his rate, you know, and this is what the problem is why... I don't understand why the normal taxpayer, you know, the person like me and you that goes to work and does our work and, you know, pays our tax at the rate that we should because our company pays it for us, or, you know, in your circumstance, probably your company, not the company.
Yeah, in short, we have no option.
You know? Yeah, but the point is that why should there be different rates?
Because I'll put it into numbers. Those that can afford it the least... Or the other way around. Those that can afford it the most should pay the most. If we had a flat rate, let's say... Wait a minute. If we had a flat rate of, say, 25%, if you apply 25% to, say, £10,000 a year, then that would leave you for the year with £7,500. If you apply 25% on 100,000, that would leave you with £75,000. So that's a bigger number. So those people can afford to.
Yeah, but that's like, to me, that's poor mathematics. Because what I would rather do is work in a Norway tax system where people got paid a fair rate. You know, the person who was working, you know, in a coffee shop got paid, you know, significantly more than the person does in the UK.
Well, then be very careful for what you wish for, though, Dave, because Norway, the Scandi countries, tax their citizens considerably higher, with the result that, I should point out, because this is very important, with the result that they are happier. See, people have the idea that if they're taxed less, then their happiness will increase. But it's actually the other way around. If you look at a list of the countries and you rank them on how much they tax their citizens, and then you cross-reference that with how happy they are with the World Happiness Index that comes out every year or so, you'll find that the countries that tax their citizens the most are, coincidentally, the happiest. And those that tax their citizens the least, down to 0% in the in the Gulf states, those people are the least happy. So it's the opposite to how it's being sold to us.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I mean, the thing that I think we can probably both agree on is that the people that are paying the least are actually the people that should be paying the most, and it's how you actually make those people pay what they should pay. Is what the
you're talking about the international criminal super rich and multinational corporations who play one country off against another in order to pay virtually nothing at all, who have located their head office on a moon circling Pluto for tax reasons. Those people.
And the problem is that actually I mean, I hate to bring it back to this, but the EU system allows them to do that to a certain extent.
The EU system?
Yeah, the fact that the people can relocate to Ireland or to Luxembourg in order to reduce their tax burden.
Well, I think you'll find that the EU is actually trying to do something about that. In that, for as an example, as you brought up Ireland, they are punishing Ireland, so it looks, through Ireland's reaction, by insisting that Apple actually pay their blooming taxes there. And the Irish authorities, meanwhile, are saying, no, we don't want their money. And the EU are insisting that they take it. So I think that if it was a toss-up between a future, let's say, conservative government in this country versus the European Union rainbow coalition, then I would guess that the EU is going to collect more taxes and be in a position to force corporations to pay more taxes than the future leader of this country who will probably be crawling across the carpet, begging corporations to come here in our post-Brexit desperation. But anyway, Dave, it's been an inspiration, if not particularly funny. Rochdale. Hello, Aaron.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'm old school left winger, old school anti-common market.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that the whole common market system, EU system, is a neoliberal, undemocratic club.
Is it? Okay.
And,
what does neoliberal mean?
It means that is it laissez-faire capitalism.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that it holds us back.
I don't think that's what it means.
Well,
what's the alternative to neoliberalism?
Sovereignty in this country, where we can elect a socialist government with proper socialist policies.
But what if that's not the will of the people, Aaron?
Well, then that's democracy.
Right. So democracy is neoliberalism.
No, the EU is neoliberalism because it's not a democratic system.
But it is a democratic system. Which part of it is not democratic?
The parts that are unelected that tell us what to do. But this is true.
Oh, it's true. Oh, you should have said that at the beginning. Then I would have taken you seriously.
Right.
Yeah. Don't tell me a lot of old flannel and then tell me it's true. Because I might have decided along the route that what you're talking about, what you're saying is rubbish. You're talking rubbish, man. You got to tell me it's true before you talk rubbish, and then I won't assume that what you're telling me is just nonsense. That was priceless. Which part's undemocratic? The undemocratic part. Oh well, yeah, you got that right. But which bit's that?
The Morning Star, who's against, who actually is anti-EU.
The Morning Star.
The Morning Star, yes.
What's this got to do with anything?
Well, you're saying that there's no. Well, actually, I'm saying from the left. There is quite a lot of people on the left who do not buy into the EU project.
Project, right? But what bit of it don't you buy into?
All of it. The reason, yes, exactly.
All of it. Well, can you be more specific, Aaron? I'll assume that the answer is no, but I'll pose the question anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason that the Labour Party is where it is at the moment is because of Thatcherism. The reason they actually wedded the EU, they actually supported the EU, it was a way to get around Thatcherism.
Right. So the travails facing the Labour Party at the moment are all the fault of Margaret Thatcher, who hasn't been with us for decades, Aaron. I mean, when are they going to get their act together, the Labour Party? Are you kidding me? They're still in the doldrums because of Margaret Thatcher?
Are the EU going to save any of us?
Are they going to save us?
Yeah.
Well, I'm my fingers are crossed that they don't save you. I mean that in the nicest possible way. What is he talking about? Anybody have any idea? No, I don't think he does either. Well, I'll just ask him. Do you have any idea what you're talking about, Aaron?
Yes.
Oh, see, I got that wrong. Yes, I'm trying to connect this call in Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, good evening, Nick.
Oh,
you okay?
Hello.
Yeah, I tell you what, Nick, they're in big problems, these two parties, Conservatives and Labour, aren't they? Tell you what, they won't be able to shake the Brexit Party off now, and it serves them right. They've asked for it, and the Brexit Party just get stronger and stronger as they get weaker. They're trying to do a deal between each other with a customs union and maybe single market. They must be rubbing the hands of the Brexit Party. They're laughing at them. They're in trouble, big trouble. They could even go to general election now. The Brexit Party. They're going to go even further than Brexit. You know,
They're going to go further than Brexit. What, on a single-issue party is going to go further than Brexit?
Yes, but they'll do it slowly. They'll get this Brexit, which happens with the Euros in about 2 or 3 weeks. They'll do well there, and then they'll make the policies after that when they get stronger. They have a way of going on.
So vote for us. We'll come up with some policies later. That sounds like a great idea.
They've only been gone 3 weeks for a month, Nick. So come on, give them a bit of a chance.
These people weren't born 3 months ago.
No,
I mean, they must have an idea about where to go and what to do.
Nick, now please, Nick, when have you ever seen a party get as strong as this in such a short period go so far as we're going to go, by the looks of it? You know, this party, you're saying they haven't got a mandate for anything, but this party could come to power.
I didn't say that they don't have a mandate for anything. I said they don't have any policies.
Well, give them
Plus,
time.
what they have got is the exact same number of people that voted for Brexit. It's just the exact same people that voted out in the referendum and now want to vote for Uncle Nigel. They haven't increased their tally. They haven't increased their number at all. It's just the same people.
But you're missing the point, Nick. It is nearly half the country, or probably half the country, will vote for him.
It's not half. It's 30%. The exact same number that voted in the referendum to leave the European Union, Brian. 30%.
I've heard you say this half a dozen times about this 30% thing. Total rubbish, Nick.
It's not.
Total rubbish.
It is not. It is not rubbish. It's 30%. Well, what do you base the accusation that it's rubbish on? Your feelings.
You can only go by how many people set up to vote. You were saying 30% like that. All right then, a lot of people who didn't vote could have been leavers, and you were making out they're all remainers. You're talking rubbish.
No, it's not. It's much more likely that those that did not vote in the referendum.
It's much more likely.
Yeah, it is much more likely.
So it's not facts then, Nick, eh?
Well, if you want me to go and ask each and every single person who did not vote in the referendum why they didn't, then we would be able to come up with facts. But in the absence of that useless exercise, we must go on the likelihood and probability.
Right.
Because that's all we've got.
You jumped to the conclusion that there were all Remainers who didn't vote.
I didn't jump to the conclusion. I thought about it and then came to a conclusion.
Well, you don't know that. But you don't know what's happening.
Yes, but you're arguing the opposite with even less information, Brian.
But I'm not saying I'm right. You're
not saying you're right.
No, I'm saying we don't know what they would have voted if you got the 100% vote. You don't know.
No. Yes, we don't know. So where have we got then in that argument?
But you were saying you do know. I'm not.
No, you were saying you do know because you were disagreeing with my assertion. Yes, you were.
Because you keep saying it's about 30%.
God. It is 30%. It is not rubbish. It's 30%.
Right. We had the local elections yesterday. Right. Stockton, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, they all lost the overall control of councils.
Yeah. These
are all Leave regions. The Labour is in as much trouble as the Conservatives.
So but what's your conclusion then?
The conclusion is that.
Right, so you're hesitating because you're about to make something up. Yes, you are. Okay, so where would those people that used to vote Conservative and Labour, where are they going to vote?
This is fact, right? We go on the vote yesterday. Fact. This is fact, Nick. They're doing okay down south, Labour. In the north and Midlands, they've lost over 100 seats in there.
Yeah, and your assertion is that all of those people are going to vote for Nigel Farage. That's how you started off this conversation, which is completely made up, Brian. And this the exact same thing you're accusing me of, which is kind of, it's precisely what I expect of you. So having heard your call every single day that I've done a show for as long as I can remember, it's always the same call, Brian.
Nick, the Brexit Party weren't even on the paper. If the Brexit Party had been on them local elections paper, the Labour would have breed 200 or 300 seats.
Right. You just made that up. Can you not hear yourself? You're doing the exact same thing that you just accused me of doing. There are no facts about what you just said. It's all assumption.
Well, it's a very big assumption, something very strong assumption, and wait till the Euros in 2 or 3 weeks.
But the strength of your assumption does not mean that it is more allied with fact. Just because you feel it strongly doesn't mean to say it's true.
Look, the fact that the numbers are telling you it probably is true. Numbers are telling me. God, can you hear yourself, Brian? You just spent 5 minutes telling me that I'm wrong because I can't back up my assertion. Your entire conversation with me is based on assertions and stuff you've just made up and something that you wish to be true. And what you think you're going to get out of this, all right, I'll go ahead and ask. What do you personally think you're going to get out of Brexit? We will get a better country. We'll get a better country.
We'll get better. Explain better.
We'll get a lot better.
But what do you mean by better?
We'll be richer.
No.
We will.
We won't be richer. Well, explain that then. How will we be richer?
Because we will stop giving all that money to the EU for nothing.
Right, that's just such a stupid... God, after all these years, 3 years, Brian, that is such a spectacularly stupid thing to say. I just can't bear it anymore. We give them all that money for nothing. First of all, here's a very important call in Uxbridge. Lewis.
Good morning, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. My company is actually called Dysfunctional. It means not operating or not working properly.
Yeah.
And the idea of that is a complaints handling company, meaning if you've got any issues that need to be resolved in terms of complaints handling, the Consumer Rights Act 2015, I can adhere to your issues. Now, I have to say one thing.
If anybody has any complaints...
Stop whining.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to something today about Tommy Robertson, and I think he's an absolute idiot.
Okay. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Of course not, but, I never know what you're talking about. I just like to call you. But would you agree that journalism is something...
Yes, I would. I do agree that journalism is something, and that is my very strong opinion. Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, good evening, Nick. Good to talk to you again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's good to talk to you.
Yeah, sure.
Pass it back. Where have you been, Nick? Where have you been today? Overnight?
Where have I been?
Yeah, Nigel Farage spoke to the cameras about Peterborough. Where were you?
Well, I can't have been paying attention.
Well, I'll tell you what he said, shall I?
I bet I can tell you what he said.
Go on then.
He said it was a great result for the Brexit Party, and
Never really.
I bet he did.
Well, go on, continue.
And the wave continues, and we will be delivering a glorious success at the next general election. And you just wait, something like that.
No,
I bet it was. Bet it was.
Right, I'll tell you what he said.
Go on.
Well, roughly what he said. I can't word for word. He said that it wasn't too bad a result. Considering,
See, exactly. That's what I just said.
But considering that they have all people on the ground that have been doing this for Peterborough for 2 months. They're just a new party, 8 weeks old.
God,
and they didn't know which doors to knock on. No.
Didn't know which doors to knock on. Just pick anyone and you'd have found a fan behind it.
Right, but the main thing was, they were second. They still keep pressure on these two parties. And it's going like a dream at the moment.
No, it is not. Yeah, it's going like a nightmare.
No, it's going very well.
No, not particularly.
You've been mourning now, won you, Nick?
They won the EU vote the other day by a much smaller margin than they were expecting. They were expecting in the upper 30s, touching 40%, and then they got in the lower 30s. I bet they were very disappointed with that. Of course, they didn't show their disappointment because they actually won it. But they won on a tiny minority of the people who could actually be bothered to show up. Almost all of which were single issue obsessives.
I make my own opinions on these things, and I think that was fairly good result. That's my opinion, not Nigel Farage's, not yours, not anybody's, mine.
Yeah.
And I think that was a fair result for them. Keeps pressure on.
Yeah.
In
the most Brexit of Brexit towns, he couldn't even win there. He's as successful. He's going to be as successful as his various failures at becoming an MP.
The 26%, the 6 points clear on the next general election.
Yeah, no, they're not.
On the poll.
No, they're not. The Lib Dems are scoring higher than them.
Lib Dems, it's changed. Lib Dems, they're 8 points clear of Lib Dems.
Yeah.
Well, they're 18 and 20 Lib Dems.
Yeah,
I
very much doubt that.
I think they're 18. Labour's 20. Brexit Party 26, and Conservatives are way out of it.
Not a chance.
Right.
I bet come in the next general. Wait a minute. I bet come the next general election, they don't get more than a handful of MP. In fact, I would be willing to lay a fiver, which is something I never, ever do. Only mugs bet, unless there's betting companies that are advertising on this show, in which case it's a tremendous way to amuse yourself and is fun for all the family. I think you'll find that is correct. But I don't bet. But I bet a fiver that they don't get one single MP.
Well, I'll bet you £1 million they get. They do.
Show me £1 million, Brian. I want you to show it me in cash.
Well, it's got to be five. You can't be very confident, can you? Right. You go with numbers, right? These numbers all the time. When it suits your argument. Yeah. You, Gov, have said the 26%.
I will bring up facts when it suits my argument. I know that nobody's interested in facts anymore, Brian.
Why can't you accept these numbers then?
What numbers?
Of 26% that by you, Gov, that they're top in a general election at the moment. Why can I accept that, Nick?
Because it's one poll. One poll does not a trend make.
Anyway, you'll be mourning more. Yes, you've only got 30 odd minutes to go before.
Here, Brian, can I remind you, you lost Get Over It. I just want to bat that ball back at all of you people who have been calling up in the last 3 years. You lost. Get over it. So here you go. Hey, Brian, you lost.
Something.
Get over it.
I'm going to push something back to you. You the meanest. Come on. I tell you what, right? You keep saying another thing on this program. You keep saying these 3 words.
3 words.
Deal, no deal. You know, and all this. You say these 3 words. What the
deal or no deal? Count the words, Brian.
Things like that, right? You have got one word. Only one word.
Deal or no deal? Isn't that stupid show that Noel Edmonds does that doesn't have a point to it? Yeah, I'll have that box there, whatever's in it. That was kind of like the EU referendum. Here's 2 boxes. I've mentioned this before. Here's 2 boxes. We won't tell you what's in them, but believe me, box A is the one you want to vote for. And so everybody thought, okay, I'll vote for box A. And guess what? There was nothing in box A. They lied to you.
When no deal is ever mentioned, Nick, all I put behind it is catastrophe, one word.
Yeah.
And they keep repeating it all the time.
That's right.
So come on,
Experts.
they're both at it, Nick. Both sides are at it, aren't they?
Experts say that if we leave with no deal, then it will nobody's remotely interested in the opinion of people who actually know stuff.
You say that I don't know what I'm voting for. Do you know what you're voting for, Remain?
Yes, the status quo.
Tell me what you're voting for.
The status quo.
You're voting to stay in the EU.
I voted Remain because if you want me to answer the question,
come on then.
Shut up a minute and I'll do it. I voted Remain because I thought everything is going perfectly fine. Why upset the apple cart? Things are going along tickety blue. Huh?
But it's not going perfectly fine in the EU, is it?
It is.
It's not going. It's not.
It is heaven above in the European Union, Brian, and you know it.
You're voting for. You don't know what you're voting for. It's only in the news now. They're going to sue. Listen, I'm going to say this before I go. They're going to sue. The EU are going to sue the other 28 nations because they won't go in line with the single market. It's going to blow up, Nick.
They're not going to do. They're not going to do what?
They're going to sue the EU. Brussels are going to sue the 28. Nations in the EU because they won't keep in line with the single market. They won't listen to them.
Because they won't keep in line with the single market. What does that mean?
The EU are saying that they will not go by the rules. They want more say in all that, and they it's today, and they're saying they're going to sue them. It's going to break up, Nick. It's gone.
Yeah, the majority of people in every single country in the European Union, bar this one, wants to stay in the European Union, Brian. I mean, I hate to bring up a little thing called a fact, but that is actually a fact. So your position is the European Union are going to sue the European Union. Well, that makes as much sense as anything else I've heard today. But anyway, as always, Brian, it was excruciating talking to you. Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Hey, I'm getting all excited, Nick.
Why's that?
2.5 weeks' time, they're going to crown Boris. Our Boris.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't wait for it.
Our unelected next leader, who will be answering to an unelected head of state and overseen by an unelected upper house. Thank goodness we're getting our democracy back.
Nick, don't start on that. Christine Lagarde, come on. We know Christine Lagarde, don't we? You know her.
Well, what do you know about her?
That's the woman who they wheeled in before the Brexit vote with Obama, isn't it? She come out, she said, IMF she is. She was.
That's right.
And International Monetary Fund. And she said, vote to leave and you'll lose thousands of jobs. Businesses will crash.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
No, that's incorrect to say that nothing happened, Brian. Do you get the news where you are? The pound is between 15 and 20% down.
Let's talk about Christine Lagarde.
Wait a minute. You're just exactly like Nigel Farage and all that lot. You just throw out an incorrect point, and then you just continue to... Or Trump does the exact same thing, and then you continue to barrel forwards while people are saying, well, hang on a minute, that wasn't right. But in the meantime, you've said 10 other things that aren't right. It's just by loudness of argument and continuing to speak that you win. And it's just... I just can't take it anymore.
You're going to let me back in, are you?
Well, it sounds like you.
Christine Lagarde, she's been investigated. She's put in charge of a bank, the European Bank.
Let's go back to what you said before. That she said that we would lose jobs.
How has she got the job, Nick? She's been investigated for £300 million, and she got found guilty of it. And she's got the job. I don't know about the other 3 or 4, but it's a joke. You're going on about our unelected. Come on. You know. Right. You get the Boris Johnson all the time.
Wait a minute.
You call an old woman a pensioner.
You see, exactly what I'm talking about. He'll throw out an assertion like how ridiculous it is for us to talk about, for me to say that we are, that our next leader is not going to be elected. But it isn't. Our next leader isn't going to be elected. Our last leader wasn't elected either.
Elected by
0.3% of the population, a completely unrepresentative sample, Brian.
Look, I'm not a conservative. I haven't got a party, right? But it is a better way of giving it to the country, like.
You can't possibly be defending being a new leader being installed without being elected. You can't possibly can't possibly on the one hand criticise the European Union for being undemocratic and then support the undemocratic rising of our new leader, put there by a white middle class, well off elite.
You keep calling Boris Johnson all the time, right? All the time, and it shows you what a thin thing you have in him. You're going back 17 years when he said about watermelon smiles and picking 17 years ago in a paper article and things like that. It shows
you brought it up.
But you and people like you keep coming out with it. It shows you what.
Again, throwing out lies. I don't keep coming out with it. You just brought it up, Brian. You brought it up to criticise me for saying it, but I didn't. You did.
Yeah, but a lot of people are. You know that, Nick.
Oh, a lot of people. Like who?
I mean, you had Chuck Ramon run a couple of days ago. And in the end,
but it wasn't just that one thing, though, was it, Brian? As you know full well, it was a succession of they call them gaffes, but it's just being stupid and rude about people for commercial gain. That's why he was doing it, because it sells columns to people who already hold those opinions. I mean, it delights the Telegraph readers to say racist things like that, because that's what they think.
I can't.
But it wasn't just an isolated incident. It's like one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And is somebody supposed to draw a line under everything they've ever said and to suggest that we shouldn't take that into account when we're judging them as a person? Please disregard everything I've ever said or done. I'm going to start afresh now. Is that your position?
Yeah. I can't wait until he becomes Prime Minister personally, because I'll tell you what, all the others are boring.
Okay, all right. All the others are boring. That's what you want from our next Prime Minister, somebody who's entertaining. For crying out loud, Brian. Turn on the TV. You'll be amused. But Claudia Winkleman won't necessarily be our next Prime Minister. I just want to be amused. Holy moly. Oh, God, really? Really? Again? Stockton-on-Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yes, hello, Nick.
Now, I've discovered recently that you don't just call this show every time it's on. You call every show. All the time.
Yeah, but you're my favourite, you know that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, you tell me that now.
11 days till he takes over.
Yeah.
He's got the job.
Mm-hmm.
Just about.
Yeah, 11
and
days. 11 beautiful days before our imminent demise.
And he shoves that dud out the way, Theresa May. She was never going to deliver a proper Brexit.
Poor Mrs.
3 years. Over 3 years she had. But this bloke, he's coming in, and if he delivers Brexit in 3 months, October the 31st...
Yeah, he won't.
He's going to be a hero, isn't he?
No, he won't deliver it. He'll come up with some old flannel about, it'd be very, very difficult at the moment, and we really we can't move forward at the speed that we previously...
Why can't you believe what he's saying? He's told you, do or die, we leave on 31st of October.
Because he just went on television and told us that he previously didn't say what we'd seen him say on television. He doesn't appear to be a believable person.
Trivialities. You go out trivialities all the time. You're about him running about after women and that, his affairs and that. Everything is trying to bring him down. Now look, it is 2019, Nick. He never hit them over the club and dragged them back to his cave. Come on, are you a prude or what? Stop being prudish. It's 2019.
That has nothing to do with prudish. Don't skip over the part where he just told mistruth about saying that Darroch didn't leave because of what he did or did not say.
It doesn't matter. Darroch...
It doesn't matter.
The problem was Darroch. He was the wrong man in Washington.
No, he wasn't.
That was the problem.
No, he's not the wrong man in Washington. I mean,
he was.
No, he wasn't.
He was when he said that when it come out.
Yeah, but that wasn't for public consumption. That's what ambassadors say all the time.
Fault. That's not Johnson's fault. It's the one who leaked it. Now.
It was Boris Johnson's fault for not backing him. He should have stuck up for his country, but he didn't. He capitulated before the giant orange monster in the White House.
Because as soon as it come out, he was the wrong man in Washington. It's all right, Hunt saying he's the right man, but and Theresa May said I would keep him, but he's the wrong man once he's done that. Can't you understand that, Nick?
No,
he's got to be replaced.
I do understand that, but that has nothing to do with it. You don't just... You don't...
It has a lot to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
No, you've got Sir Alan Duncan come straight out and said to Johnson, you've thrown him under a bus.
Yes.
Now, this Sir Alan Duncan, Theresa May got the job as MP. When she got the job, she brought him straight back. He was out in the cold, Sir Alan Duncan. She brought him Arch Remainer ears. She brought him back and gave him a job overseas. The Europe and Americas. Now, it's the same thing there, see. What Nigel Farage is saying is, they're supposed to be independent. Civil service jobs, they're supposed to be independent.
No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to raise a finger of objection here. Nigel Farage doesn't want people who are independent. He wants people who agree with him.
He wants a mixture.
No, he doesn't. I've just read out what he said.
We know he said that, but what he's saying is...
Oh, now, wait a minute. You're saying we know he said that, but when he said that, he didn't mean what he said.
All I'm saying is this. He hasn't got his own way, but we know all he says, it's jobs for the boys, Darroch, Duncans and all of them. Jobs for the boys. And
I don't know what that means, jobs for the boy. You mean jobs for the people who are most highly suited for the task? Is that what you mean?
This Duncan,
right?
I mean, who would you prefer in that
Give him a
position?
just a second. We'll go to Duncan. She'll give him a top job in America's trade and that, right? Now, this same Duncan is trying to bring his own party down. He's one of the 30. They're trying to deselect him in his constituency because the vote, you know, the thing is, the mandate was to deliver Brexit, and this bloke just wants to stay flog this Duncan. I don't know about Darrow, but he's supposed to be a big EU man as well. But anyway...
But that has nothing to do with his position. He's the ambassador to the United States of America. Whether he's an inner or an outer don't make no difference. That's not his job. You might as well say that he prefers country and western music to rock and roll. That doesn't make any difference either.
The thing is, Nick, Darrow is gone. Forget about it. They're going to get somebody else. He was gone by Christmas anyway. But anyway, it became untenable, his position.
Yes,
now,
but don't you understand that that has nothing to do with it? The issue here is whether our next Prime Minister sided with this country or just fell down onto the floor and crawled across the carpet to gain favour with Donald Trump.
Anyway, he's going to take over on the 23rd, kick it out the way, and then he starts on the cabinet, doesn't he? Hammond's gone. Lidington today, 2,000 jobs. They're making it up as they're going along, and he come out Hammond for 90 billion over 15 years. Come on, Nick, this is far-fetched, isn't it? Come on. Finally...
I know that in your version of I know that in your version of Brexit, everything is sunny uplands and with Tweety birds on the trees, and there'll always be jam and scone for tea.
No, but we've got a new Prime Minister coming in. Let's show a bit of optimism about things. We tried 3 years trying to appease the EU. It didn't work.
Appease.
And now we're going to try a different way.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll find out, won't we, Brian? You call me back then. And you'll try to pull success from the jaws of defeat. I betcha we ain't out at the end of October. But you'll find some way of excusing that, no doubt. I'll talk to you then.
Is mine.